Rocky, Cardinals at the Phillies. John Miller and Joe Morgan enjoy the game.
Okay, Carl, now from the vet in Philadelphia, it's the Cardinals taking on the wild card leading Phillies on the Sunday night game of the week. Last Sunday night, the game was distilled into a power versus power showdown. Pujols' Sunday dramatics were just the beginning. He homered in 4 straight games and now has a 30-game hitting streak. At age 23, Pujols leads the league in batting average and is second in home runs and runs batted in. This has prompted talk of baseball's first triple crown since all the way back in 1967. Exceptional pitching has propelled the Phillies into the lead in the National League wildcard race. Free agent Jim Thome has sparked the offense with 32 homers. But Thome will need help from the Phil's other sluggers to fight off the streaking Marlins for the wildcard berth. It's 2 of baseball's hottest hitters on Sunday Night Baseball. From Veterans Stadium in Philadelphia, it's ESPN Sunday Night Baseball presented by Nextel. The Phillies have won the first 2 games of the series over the Cardinals, led by Jim Thome homers in each of those games. Tonight, the Phillies slugger shares his hitting secrets with our Joe Morgan. Also last night, Albert Pujols extended his hitting streak to 30 consecutive games, but he is missing from the lineup tonight, down with the flu. The Phillies try to sweep the Cardinals now with Amaury Telemaco on the mound up against Jim Edmonds, and the Cardinals moments away on the Sunday night game of the week.
There's a state where the national pastime is the game of what if. What if all cars were turbocharged? What if innovation were the official currency? Saabs are made in a state of independence, where freedom is held as tightly as the road. Welcome.
The Saab 9.3 linear sport sedan, available during the Everyday is Independence Day summer sales event for as low as $299 a month.
It takes focus, determination, innovative technology, but they're nothing without the human effort. That's what it takes to create new medicines. Like the 3 Bristol-Myers Squibb medicines that helped me beat my cancer.
Today, Bristol-Myers Squibb's breakthrough treatments bring hope to those with cancer, heart disease, and other illnesses.
Hope, triumph, and the miracle of medicine. Bristol-Myers Squibb Company.
Introducing the Power Mac G5, the world's fastest, most powerful personal computer.
SWAT is the most honored police division in the world.
Okay, guys, this is what we trained for.
73 David, I need an RA unit.
Line up. We got the call.
Nextel's walkie-talkie, coast to coast. Nextel SWAT, now in theaters.
ESPN Sunday Night Baseball, presented by Nextel. Nextel, life's better when your cell phone has a walkie-talkie.
Veterans Stadium in Philadelphia, the final game for the Cardinals, at least in the regular season. They could come back here in October. Tonight, they're just concerned about avoiding a sweep at the hands of the Phillies. Here is the Cardinals batting order now, presented by Nextel. You'll notice Albert Pujols is not in it. Bo Hart, second base. Orlando Palmeiro in right. Jim Edmonds with 30 homers in center. Scott Rowland, the former Philly, hit one a long way last night, third base. Tino Martinez at first. Edgar Renteria at short. Miguel Cairo in left. Chris Widger the catcher, and Brett Tomko is the pitcher. Hello, everyone. I'm John Miller with Joe Morgan. Welcome to Sunday Night Baseball. Albert Pujols out of the lineup. He's got a high fever, flu-like symptoms, so they'll have to do without him here tonight against this Phillies ball club that needs a win to stay atop the wild card division, Joe.
Well, the Phillies are playing great, John. They've won 4 in a row, but the key to the Phillies has been Jim Thome. He's starting to hit for power. He's starting to get a lot of clutch hits. Placido Polanco has played very, very well. Bobby Abreu. This is a good ball club. All of a sudden, they're starting to get clutch hits. That was their problem early in the year.
All right, so Larry Bowa's ball club trying to keep it going. They've won 4 in a row, including the first 2 games of this series. And tonight they're going with Amaury Telemaco. He's a veteran, but he's trying to come back from surgery. He's been missing from the big league scene for a couple of years. This year, he proved he was healthy at Scranton Wilkes-Barre in AAA, 10-9. And you see his control record there. Only 22 walks in 155 and a third innings. So the man was throwing strikes at AAA.
Well, he'll have to throw strikes here because he doesn't throw that hard. Throws a slider, a splitter, curve, and an occasional curve and a changeup. So he has to have his control, and he has to pitch on the outer edges of the plate.
So here's Telemaco's return to the big leagues, and he starts it off with an 87-mile-an-hour fastball for a strike to Bohart.
Right on the outside corner, he hit the target. You can see how well he's going to pitch just by watching the target and see how close he comes to hitting it.
That slider in there for a called strike 2. Bohart hitting .294. Been in 52 games. Up out of the Cardinals minor league system. A beautiful night here. Humidity much lower, 79 degrees at game time. That's into center field. Going way back there is Bird, all the way back at the wall, and then he makes the basket catch.
Well, not a good pitch there from Telemaco. He had 2 strikes, and he hung a breaking ball right in the middle of the plate. Bohart hit it pretty well, but got under it just enough for it to stay in the ballpark. Well, you mentioned Bird went back, and then it seemed like maybe the wind knocked it down a little bit, and he had to make like Willie Mays.
Now here is Orlando Palmeiro. Now, the wind is blowing in right now, but asking Marlon Byrd and Bobby Abreu, they both said the same thing about the winds here at the vet. They said if it's blowing in, from whatever direction it's blowing in, you can count on it blowing out. And maybe that was hit so high that the wind did knock it down a little bit. But the ball was jumping during batting practice. Orlando Palmeiro, the late addition to the Cardinals batting order after the slugger Albert Pujols had to be scratched. Palmeiro, the former Anaheim Angel, had a World Series ring with the Angels last year, hitting .275. And Telemaco catches the outside corner for a called strike. 2-1 the count.
You can see what he's doing to right-handers. He threw the ball pretty straight over the outside corner. Against the left-handers, he's making the ball tail away from the left-hander. First 2 pitches were off the plate because they tailed away.
3-1. Brandon Duckworth, who had not won a game for the Phillies since May. This would have been his night to make the start, but they sent him back to the minor leagues after his game here last Tuesday against Milwaukee. That's in there for a strike. Now it's a full count, 3-2. Telemaco is 29 years old and hoping that this is his return to the big leagues. That ball is belted down the right field line, and that ball is gone. A home run for Orlando Palmeiro, only his 2nd of the year in his 245th at bat. 1-0 Cardinals.
Well, I told you to watch the target and see how close he comes to the target. He doesn't come close at all. This is supposed to be a fastball away. Throws him a fastball in, and watch him turn on it. See, it's supposed to be away, and it's in, and he just turns on it and reacts. He wasn't trying to hit a home run, but he was forced to because the ball was in, and he just reacted to the ball inside.
So it is 1-0. I mean, he missed his spot by
a whole plate.
The whole width of the home plate, 17 inches.
Yeah, he had it. Was supposed to be on the outside corner. Every pitch before that was away. But a lot of times you just react to the ball inside, and that's why you hit it so well sometimes. You're not looking for it.
Well, now you've had 2 hard hit balls to start the game, but here is the slugger, Jim Edmonds, who has 30 home runs, 72 runs batted in, although he's not been hitting many home runs lately. Edmonds, who injured his shoulder during the home run derby at the All-Star festivities. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Let's take a look at this pitch. See, here's the catcher set up out here, and the ball is going to be in here. And that's why Palmeiro was able to drive it down the right field line.
Ooh, tried to backdoor him with the, I don't know if that's a slider or a cut fastball.
I think that was a slider that had a big break. And watch, he has a big break. You can watch the delivery of the arm.
And
Quite a ways
K-zone,
offside.
had it considerably off the corner. Edmonds is down on strikes. And the booing is for Scott Rowland, the former Philly. They've been booing him all weekend long.
Well, they caught me off guard, John. I thought they were booing Edmonds. But the reason they're booing Scott Rowland, of course, is because he demanded a trade away from Philadelphia after he had put up some good numbers here and been a good player for them for a few years.
Well, he turned down a very generous contract offer from the Phillies and indicated that he probably was going to head elsewhere.
Man, they're excited here, aren't they? There's a Scotty Boo Birds, I guess, up there.
Scotty Poo's Boos.
Man. And he's a nice guy, too.
Well, don't tell it to me. Tell it to these people. You think that guy thinks he's a nice guy?
I think they said that people in Philadelphia booed Santa Claus a couple of times. So
you think Scott Rowland's as nice as Santa Claus?
No, but he's a nice guy.
1 ball and 2 strikes to Rowland.
Yeah, there you go.
You're still, Scotty, you're still my hottie. One and 2 the count. Well, that wasn't exactly the way Rowland wanted to turn those boos into cheers. It may be the only one that would work here in Philly. 1-0. The Cardinals are out in front.
They're telling you I got to play no matter what.
My counsel is that he walk away. We sent him to you so that he would play.
I'll keep monitoring and make sure it doesn't get any worse.
If you're losing your hair, how would you like a free month supply of Avocor?
Huh?
That's right. We're giving away an additional 1-month supply of Avocor absolutely free with today's orders. Did you know thousands of people just like you have reversed their hair loss thanks to Avocor? Imagine going from this to this.
When I started to notice my hair thinning, I took action with Avocor. It stopped my hair loss. I'm regrowing my hair. It's worth every penny.
Before you spend thousands on painful hair restoration procedures, why not give us a call and let Avocor regrow your hair the easy way without paying a fortune?
Avocor is so effective, it's guaranteed for up to 1 full year. Isn't it time you regain that youthful appearance? The sooner you order, the sooner Avocor can start regrowing your hair.
Call 800-397-8917. Remember, order today to get an extra month supply for free. That's 800-397-8917.
ESPN Sunday Night Baseball from Philadelphia. 1-0. The Cardinals out in front. Here's a look now at the Phillies batting order presented by Nextel. Marlon Byrd leads off in center. Placido Polanco at third base. Bobby Abreu, who is coming on strong now. An excellent hitter. And he's having a hot go of it here lately. Jim Thome at first. He's also hot with the long ball. Mike Lieberthal, the veteran catcher. Chase Utley up from the minor leagues at second base. Pat Burrell really struggling this year. The big slugger. Having a real tough season in left field. Jimmy Rollins, the exciting shortstop. And Mauri Telemaco, the pitcher, batting ninth. All up against Brett Tomko. Tomko's been winning ball games here lately. And generally, it seems like a good night for the Cardinal offense whenever he pitches. They score a lot of runs when he's on the mound. Although he'd been giving up a lot of runs.
Yeah, he's been winning, though. That's the important thing. But this guy has good stuff, John. He's always capable of shutting a team down. He has good fastball, good curve, change. He has all the pitches. It's just a matter of not making any mistakes. And here's the Cardinals. This is a good defense. I mean, Martinez at first, good first baseman. Hart, pretty good second baseman. Renteria, excellent shortstop. Roland, Gold Glover at third. He and Renteria. Cairo's in the outfield in place of Pujols. And, of course, Edmonds in center is a Gold Glove winner. And then right field, you have Orlando Palmeiro. He's a good outfield as well. So this is a good Cardinals defense.
Marlon Byrd, Phillies leadoff man. Tomko starts behind him. 2 balls and no strikes. Byrd is not your prototypical leadoff man. But he's got a decent on-base average, 351. He's not stolen a lot of bases.
Also forgot to mention Chris Widger behind the plate. He's replacing Matheny, and Matheny is a Gold Glove catcher, one of the best catchers in the game.
And Tomko pours that one in there for a strike. 3 balls, 1 strike to Marlon Byrd. Polanco on deck. Abreu due up third. 1-0 Cardinals. And Tomko starts it off with a walk. Tony La Russa, Cardinals have had a hard time really ever getting a sustained hot streak going. They were hopeful that the dramatic victory last Sunday night on Sunday Night Baseball, home runs by Perez and then Pujols in the 8th coming from behind, beating Atlanta. But they were not able to sustain that hot streak. Now they're trying to avoid being swept by Larry Bowa's Philadelphia Phillies. And Tomko, looks like the mound is a strange place to him. 1 ball and no strikes as Widger goes out to try and calm him down a little bit. The Cardinals with a win would move into a tie for first place in the Central Division. The Astros lost today in Cincinnati. The Cubs lost at home to the Dodgers. So the Cardinals would move ahead of the Cubs and into a tie with the Astros. The Phillies, the Marlins won again today. The Phillies need a win to go back a half game up on the Marlins in the wild card division. That's what I'm calling it, Joe. I'm calling it the wild card division. As if the Marlins and the Phillies, the Arizona Diamondbacks for a while, they all moved out of their divisions and into the wild card division.
Well, in effect, some of them have. I mean, I think the Phillies definitely moved out because the Braves are not going to be caught. I think the Diamondbacks feel they still have a shot at the Giants. It's going to be tough, though.
They gained ground on the Giants today. And Palmeiro all the way back onto the warning track. Polanco gave that one a long ride.
When I watch Polanco play, I mean, he's just one of my favorite players because I never see him make a mental mistake, and he's a good hitter. He's been their most consistent player this year.
Came into the game hitting over 300. 303, 12 homers.
And he just seems to do the right things at the right time when he's on the field, whether it's defensively, on the bases, or whatever. He's a good player.
So now here is Bobby Abreu. He's got 19 homers, 84 runs batted in. Look at that on-base average, over 400. This guy's just a good all-around hitter. Gets on base a lot, got some power, got extra base power. That's a called strike. Abreu, who's from Venezuela, and oddly enough, when he was first signed, because you think of him as an outfielder and a guy with a strong arm, you see how hot he's been for the last month. 29 games, hitting .385. And it wouldn't be surprising if he sustained that right to the end of the year. He's that good a hitter. When he signed, he was a shortstop. And he went to his first minor league season as a shortstop in the Houston Astros organization. And after 1 year, they moved him to the outfield. They asked him, he said he went to extended spring training. They moved to the outfield to take some fly balls and make some throws. And he took 5 or 10 throws. And they said, hey, you're out there. Well, they hit that one the opposite field. It's going to be extra bases. Into third is Byrd, and a stand-up double for Abreu.
Well, the reason he hits for a high average is because he does use the entire field. He doesn't hit the ball down that line as often, but he uses the left center to right center. But he used the entire field, and that's how he has raised his average from 250 to well over 300 just in the last month. Well, you have first base open here. We'll see how they attack Jim Thome. I watched them pitch to him last night, and they were trying to just beat him up inside. And the home run he hit was on a 2-0 fastball that did not get the inside part of the plate, got the middle, and he hit it out. Yeah, that's where they tried to pitch him yesterday, inside and up, and he did swing at a couple of those pitches yesterday. And if you make the perfect pitch, maybe you'll get him out. But if you miss by 6 inches and move it out over the plate, you're in trouble.
They've got the shift out for him. The shortstop Renteria playing up the middle. There's the second baseman out in the shallow right center field. Bo Hart. Thome with a bloop and caught by Renteria.
Another good pitch there by Thome. Right in on the hands, and Thome tried to inside out it to get it off of him, and he couldn't do it. When I talked to him today about hitting, he says he tries to get his hips out of the way. That allows him to get to this inside pitch. See where the pitch is? Right in on the hands, and he could not get to it.
That's surprising that Thome swung at that pitch?
No, it was a good pitch to hit. He just was late on it. It surprised me that he was looking for something else. He had to be looking something off speed or something away. But they pounded him inside for 2 days that I've watched.
So even that far inside, that's a good pitch to hit?
No, I mean, he had to be looking for it. You can keep that ball fair if you're looking for it inside.
Mike Lieberthal, and he takes ball one. He's hitting .321, but not with much power. Before he got hurt, Lieberthal was a threat to hit 30 home runs. But a base hit here would suffice for the Phillies with 2 down. And maybe just that. Bird is in to score. That sinker had some severe action on it, and Widger couldn't handle it. It is 1-1.
I don't know if he was crossed up or he just did not catch the ball, because the ball was in the air and it was sinking down and away from him, but I don't know. I mean, he may have been crossed up. Let's take a look. See, the ball's going to move down and in, and it's in the air. It just hits him off the heel of the glove.
Looks like a pass ball. Now base hit to put the Phillies ahead, or another Cardinals mistake. Well, they're going to score that as a wild pitch.
Well, it wasn't a wild pitch, but you know, they may score it as such, but it wasn't.
Catcher's supposed to catch a ball like that. And that's a walk. 2 walks in the inning allowed by Thome. But that was a pretty serious sinking fastball that got by Widger.
Right. Catcher's supposed to catch sinking fastballs.
Now Widger did not go out and talk to
no, it didn't look like
Thome.
they were crossed up. He just looked like the ball did have some extra sink on it, and he wasn't able to catch it. This guy Utley, I mean, he's brought up for his hitting. I mean, he's not known for his defense, but he is a good hitter.
It was up briefly earlier this year. That slider up and away. 1 ball, no strikes. Utley in his first start, it wasn't his first game, but his first start in the big league lineup, hit a grand slam back in April. Just back up in the minors this week. But Thome is behind again. You see Thome visibly frustrated out there now.
It looks like he's rushing a little bit every once in a while when he releases the ball. Other times when he waits, he seems like that's when he threw that good sinker. He waited back on his, kept his body back and released it very well.
2-0. That one
fastball
is going to go out of play off the third base side.
Anytime you can throw a guy 2-0 fastball in the middle of the plate and he's late on it, you had a lot of movement on that fastball.
You'll see some of the particulars on Chase Utley, the census report on Utley. We're 24 years old. Wide open stance up there. Abreu at third, Lieberthal at first. The game tied at 1. 3-1 the count. He's made 21 pitches, and 13 of them have been out of the strike zone.
I'm watching him, and looks like he's got good stuff. He's got good movement on his fastball. He looks like he's trying to hit the edges, and I don't think he has to when you have as good a stuff as he has tonight. See, I mean, you throw a fastball right in the middle and the guy can't catch up with it. There's no reason for you to have to pitch on the edges and maybe end up walking him with the bases loaded.
So show a little more confidence in your stuff.
Yeah, a little more confidence. I mean, he's throwing the ball well, and he's got good movement.
Thome, for much of his career, has always been an enigma. Great stuff, but he's bounced around. Never had a whole lot of success in the big leagues. There goes the runner from first as Utley fouls one back to the screen. 94 that time.
I mean, with some movement. You know, 94 straight doesn't mean a lot, but 94 with some movement means a lot. And this ball has some movement. I mean, you see the catcher reach. He started in the middle of the plate and moved to the upper outer edge of the strike zone.
3-2. Lieberthal, the runner at first. He's running. That one is into right field. Abreu scores the go-ahead run. Lieberthal over to third. 2-1 Phillies.
Interesting. He threw the ball very well. He got the fastball down. And Utley, like I said, he is a good hitter. And he was able to get the barrel around on the low fastball. He wasn't catching up with the high fastball, but he got around on the low fastball. And watch where this pitch is. He can handle this pitch. He gets down on that pitch, but he wasn't able to handle the high fastball. Left-handed hitters are good low ball hitters anyway. And he grounds one into right field for a base hit.
So the rookie, Utley, puts the Phillies ahead. His 7th RBI as a big leaguer. Dave Duncan, the Cardinal pitching coach, out to chat with Thome. Thome, in his starts this year, has allowed a batting average to lefties and righties combined of .312. His ERA 5.46. And yet he has a winning record. He's 9-7. Here's Pat Burrell, Philly slugger who's been struggling all year. That slider over the outside for a strike. Thome has also allowed the most home runs in the National League. You see, Burrell already had 27 homers at this point last year. He was hitting .275. Thome gets to that one. And Tino Martinez with the put out. But 2 runs, 2 hits, 2 walks, a wild pitch. Coming up, our Nextel poll question: who will win the next Triple Crown?
Introducing the Power Mac G5, the world's fastest, most powerful personal computer.
Hey, welcome.
What's with all the lights?
Keeps the roaches out. They hate lights.
Cheese? Cheese?
Here's a better idea. Call Terminex. More people trust us to solve their pest problems. 1-800-Terminex.
The power is in your hands. The Wagner Wide Shot Power Painter. Professional results in about 1/3 of the time. The one and only Wagner Power Painter. For guys who like to run wide open.
The Home Depot is more than a store. It's finally starting that new deck. It's changing colors and opening minds. It's making garage space for a new driver. Right now, families with kids are getting a little money back on their taxes. It could be the perfect time to start that project you've been waiting for and invest in something sure to grow for years to come. The Home Depot. You can do it. We can help.
Closed captioning for selected programming presented by Icy Hot.
Got back pain? Get strength.
With the new Icy Hot Back Patch, it goes on icy to dull the pain, then gets hot to relax it away for hours. Icy Hot Back Patch.
Count on it.
Phillies 2, Cardinals 1 as we start the second inning from Veterans Stadium. Phillies trying to win their 5th in a row and remain atop the wild card division. Here is Tino Martinez to lead off for St. Louis. Tino is hitting .283 this year. Not a whole lot of power. 12 homers, 57 driven in. He fouls that one back from Telemaco. By the way, Joe, the official scorer has now, on that ruling where he said wild pitch, he now has seen the play through your eyes, and it has officially been changed to a pass ball.
Well, it was a pass ball, so he made the right decision.
I'm sure that he's happy that you also now see it
I don't think he cares, but at least he got it correct. I thought that's the new thing. We want to get it correct, right? Get it right. Yeah, I like the umpires.
They should have like the umpires. They should have like several official scores, and they could have a meeting.
Well, they do that to World Series, don't they? In the All-Star game, I guess.
Yeah. 2-2 the count to Tino Martinez. Edgar Renteria on deck, then Miguel Cairo for the Cardinals. Cardinals going home for a long while after this game tonight. Down the left field line, that ball is a fair ball. Burl into the corner as Tino eases into second with a stand-up double.
And Tino has been hitting the ball well, but he just has not hit with any power lately. And you can see there he just goes the other way and guides the ball to left field. Now watch, the ball's going to be up and away, and he just guides it over that way. He doesn't try to pull it. So he just kind of pushes it that way, and that's the double down the left field line, but he has not been hitting with much power lately.
So Tino at second. Now here is Edgar Renteria. Renteria hitting .332. 12 homers, 74 batted in. He's had 34 doubles. That sinker misses off the inside. 1 ball and no strikes. You know, there's so many top-notch shortstops around. Seems like we don't hear Edgar Renteria's name mentioned with them maybe as often as we should. Because he's excellent defensively, and he's quite a hitter.
And he can steal bases. He runs the bases well. And he's a threat on the bases to steal a base anytime.
Got 25 steals. And you see he's getting better and better as a hitter. Last year hit .305, had 83 RBIs. Yeah, that's right. And I was about to have an argument with myself about that. Now .332 so far this year. And Telemaco hangs one too high. 3-0. See, he's showing a lot of respect here to Edgar Renteria.
And he's also overthrowing everything. I mean, the runner at second, he seems like he's just trying to overpower them. And we talked about the fact that control is his main asset.
Renteria swinging away. And he does move Tino Martinez over to third base. Hit that ball sharply right at Thome. 1 out. Now our next poll question: which player has the best chance to be the next Triple Crown winner? Is it Todd Helton of Colorado, Vladimir Guerrero of the Expos, Albert Pujols of the Cardinals, who has a shot, a legitimate chance to do it this year, Manny Ramirez of the Red Sox, or Alex Rodriguez of the Texas Rangers? You can log on to ESPN.com and make your voice heard. Or you can also log on to your Nextel phone and vote.
That'll be interesting to see what the fans think.
I mean, Pujols has a shot this year. He's got 34 homers. Barry Bonds leads the league with 37. Well, that'll get the run home. Some sound situational hitting here by the Cardinals. Cairo with the ground ball to short gets Martinez home, and it is 2-2.
Well, this gets the job done because Renteria moved the runner over to third with less than 2 outs. Sharply hit ground ball. And you see Rollins takes his time, but he has a strong arm, and he fires across the diamond. Very rarely will you see a guy allowed to swing 3-0 and move a runner along. Hit the ball to the right side as Renteria did.
That's what Renteria did, and it ultimately pays off in a run. 2-2. Widger the hitter. So what do you think, Joe? Who's your guy for who's the most likely next Triple Crown winner?
Well, I guess, you know, I mean, I don't, first of all, I'll tell you, I don't think anyone can do it. But I will say that, you know, Pujols obviously has the best chance right now because, you know, he's doing things very, very well. But it's so difficult now because there are so many good players and so many guys that are tops in certain areas. You have guys who are just true RBI men. You know, Manny Ramirez is a great RBI man. You have home run hitters like Barry Bonds. You have guys who are going to keep you from just having real good numbers and winning the Triple Crown. I mean, you just have too many guys that hit the ball out of the ballpark.
Bonds was not on our list because he gets walked so often.
Right.
I don't think he could ever get the RBIs.
No, exactly.
Oh, that hit him. Widger hit by the pitch, and he'll go to first as Telemaco had one get away from him on the inside.
And even with Pujols, you're going to see that more and more. You're going to see more and more walks. In last night's ball game, I think he walked 3 times. They're going to start pitching around him a little bit more than they have so far. Fastball in, and Widger gets hit on the right arm with it.
Now Widger hit by the pitch. Now he's a professional hitter, but he had not hit much in the few times he's had a chance this year. Now here's the pitcher up who has hit real well this year. 289. Widger came into the game hitting 169. 2-2 the score. We're in the second. He was way late in that fastball. All right, so I mean, now it seems to me that Todd Helton is an outstanding hitter.
All those guys on the list are outstanding hitters and players.
But he's also has an ally in Coors Field.
Yeah, but I mean, all those guys are very, very good. All of them are capable. Every one of them are capable of hitting enough home runs, driving in enough runs, and hitting for a high enough average. The problem is there's so many other good players. For instance, Ted Williams won hitting 32 home runs, 114 RBIs, and a 350 batting at 343 average. I mean, 32 home runs, Pujols already has that. 114 RBIs, he has 108. 343, he's already hitting more than that, but he's still not leading the league in all those categories. And Ted Williams won the Triple Crown with those numbers: 32 home runs, 114 RBIs, and 343 average. So it's just so much more difficult to do now because there are so many guys put up big numbers.
Tomko down on strikes, and that's the inning. But the Cardinals have tied the ball game 2-2 after 1.5.
The Saturn Ion has plenty of passenger space if you're ready for that next big step. And 140 horsepower engine if you're not. And electric power steering if you are. And dent-resistant side panels if you need some time to think about it. Get a new 2003 Saturn Ion L Series review at 0% APR financing and $1,000 towards your down payment. For restrictions, see your retailer.
Welcome back. Our big leader is Carl Senegren, a bouncer from Saskatchewan. His hobbies are eating and lighting firecrackers. And it says here, Carl, you're looking forward to the 7th grade. You're going to be a teacher?
No, a student, Alex.
You mean you're not even in high school yet?
What is no? But I did stay at a Holiday Inn Express last night. Let's get some harder questions here, huh, Alex?
Stay smart. Stay at a Holiday Inn Express.
Since Cal Ripken's family got their new HP digital photography system from Radio Shack, things just haven't been the same.
Hey, Dad, guess who just moved in next door?
Who?
Ozzy.
Ozzy? Ozzy Smith? I haven't seen him since the fishing trip after the last All-Star game. Man.
Let Radio Shack show you how simple it is to shoot and print your own digital photos. Now save $75 when you buy an HP digital camera and HP photo printer.
Hey, Dad.
This isn't my Ozzy.
Radio Shack, you've got questions, we've got answers.
Let's say this is you. Yeah, you're the king. But being the king isn't always easy. So, when you're with Allstate, you'll have over 50,000 professionals to help protect you. From claims adjusters who can help you fix a broken castle, to emergency assistants to ride your rescue, to lawyers that go to court with you if you need them, and your Allstate agent who knows the moves to help you. helping you, the king, feel protected. Just one more way, you're in good hands with Allstate.
Coming this fall, ESPN has a new fall series. The Division Series.
There they go. The Angels have
The new fall lineup premieres September 30th at 1 p.m. only on ESPN. The race is on.
Yeah, well, a little over 6 weeks.
Yeah.
And the postseason will begin. The Phillies have high hopes of being there. So do the Cardinals. They're both right in there. Phillies started today a half game up in the wild card. Phillies, who have not advanced to the postseason since 1993, that memorable ball club, the 1983 Wheeze Kids. That's when you got real old, apparently. you were much older then than you are now.
Yeah, the Wheeze Kids, but it was fun.
Joe Morgan,
Pete Rose,
Tony Perez on that club.
Yeah, Mike Schmidt, Steve Carlton. A lot of good players.
And that was, I mean, the Wheeze Kids was a little play on words because the 1950 Phillies went to the series with an excellent group of young players, and they were called the Whiz Kids. Then in '83, you had a lot of veteran guys.
Older guys.
Older guys.
But they were older than I was.
And they were
Tony and Pete and those guys. You know.
They were the Wheeze Kids. The Phillies went to the World Series that year. As Rollins is thrown out by Bo Hart. Now here's an update with Trey Wingo.
John and Joe, thanks. It has not been a great year for Kurt Schilling on the DL twice, but against the Braves, it didn't matter. 8 innings, 1 hit ball, 12 strikeouts, and he got just enough offense from Alex Cintron off Greg Maddux. Cintron's 10th of the year. D-backs win at 2-0 to lead in the West, down to 8.5 games. John and Joe, back to you.
Yeah, the D-backs at one point were 12.5 back of the Giants. Giants lost their 5th in a row today. And the Giants are reeling. Barry Bonds is back home in San Francisco with his dad, Bobby. We send our prayers and best wishes to both Barry and Bobby and their families.
Very difficult time now for the Bonds family.
Telemaco, the hitter, facing Brent Tomko with 1 out and nobody on. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
And I'm actually, John, tomorrow having my 14th or 15th golf tournament. And this will be the first one that Bobby's ever missed. And he was there from the first time I had one and even last year. So it'll be the first time I've not had a chance to see him at the tournament.
Well, we saw Chase Utley earlier in the game tonight, who homered in his first start as a big leaguer. Bobby Bonds who hit a grand slam in his first big league start. Bobby Bonds had a grand slam in his first big league game. 1968, a Giants-Dodgers game at Candlestick Park.
Doesn't get any bigger than that for Giants fans against the Dodgers.
That is Renteria. And Telemaco is out by plenty.
John, I want to go back and visit the Triple Crown thing again. We were talking about players. One guy has done all those things. Alex Rodriguez has led the league in American League in hitting. He's led it in home runs, and he led it in RBIs. In fact, last year he led it in home runs and RBIs, but not batting average. So I guess you'd have to say he's definitely capable of winning the Triple Crown.
Well, that's a very good hitter's ballpark, too, where he plays his home games.
But there are so many good players and so many guys that can put up big numbers. That's why I don't think it'll happen again.
Well, if it did happen again, who would be the most likely?
Well, give me your thoughts. I already gave you Pujols for today. I just take the front runner. You know me. He's got the best chance right now.
So you like A-Rod then?
Well, I think A-Rod is capable, but then again, like I said, Todd Helton is capable.
They're all capable. Yeah.
They're all capable. Yeah.
Well, you see down at the bottom of the list, A-Rod hit 300, but 57 homers, 142 RBIs. It led in both home runs and RBIs. Renteria throws out Marlon Byrd, and that's the inning. A quiet inning with a lot of strikes thrown for Brett Tomko. Top of the order coming up with the Cardinals, tied at 2.
SWAT is the most honored police division in the world.
Okay, guys.
This is what we trained for.
73, David, I need an RA unit.
Line up. We got the call.
Nextel's walkie-talkie, coast to coast. Nextel SWAT, now in theaters.
Here's the dirt on the Nissan Xterra. You see, it's got this basket that holds just about anything you can throw at it. Or in it. Or near it. We think a gear basket's a great way to top off an Xterra. Get 0.9 financing for 60 months or $1,500 cash back on every new 2003 Nissan Xterra.
NFL Sunday Ticket is better than ever in 2003. Now, along with the most NFL games, you'll get NFL Sunday Ticket Game Tracker, where your computer alerts you when games are heating up. NFL Sunday Ticket Enhanced Games, with live game action and updates from other games all on one channel. And NFL Sunday Ticket Highlights on Demand, with highlight packages delivered automatically to your DirecTV DVR. This season, score big with NFL Sunday Ticket, only from DirecTV.
Hey, DirecTV viewers. I'm Jasmine Guy.
And I'm Ellen Muth from the new Showtime original series, Dead Like Me. DirecTV offers great choices for what you want to watch, like Showtime.
Enjoy breakthrough original series and movies, knockout championship boxing, plus Hollywood hits no one else has.
The best variety on TV.
Showtime, no limits.
Part of Showtime Unlimited. Added for $12 or less per month. Call 1-800-DIRECTV to order now.
ESPN Sunday Night Baseball, presented by Nextel. Nextel, life's better when your cell phone has a walkie-talkie. And in part by Starbucks Double Shot Espresso Drink. Bring on the day.
Veterans Stadium, the home of the Phillies for this final season. Here's Bo Hart leading it off. Mauri Tanamaco, adios y buenas noches. That one got there in a hurry, and he caught it.
And he actually caught it because he kind of leaned out of the way and stuck his glove out there. Now watch, he's going to fall off, but he moves his upper body out of the way and sticks his glove out there. See that? I mean, he saw it.
Oh, man.
Man. Pitchers are in danger on every pitch that they throw to the plate.
Orlando Palmeiro, who homered his first time, taking a strike. That'll get your adrenaline going, wouldn't it? And that changeup is a strike on the outside.
And you see the difference. They're just staying away from him. Well, he was under control.
Backdoored him with that slider. 1 ball and 2 strike. Well, a lot of pitchers would tell you that they have nightmares about line drives back at the mound.
And you can see why. I mean, it's a very dangerous position.
1 and 2. And that's a base hit. So Palmeiro, who was inserted in the lineup only after Albert Pujols had to be scratched with the flu, is 2 for 2. Meanwhile, there's an update for the ballgame in Texas with Trey Wingo.
All right, John and Joe, thanks very much. Sox come in having lost 4 straight. They need a win to stay 2 back at Kansas City. Mark Teixeira just doesn't care. An RBI double down the third base line brings in Shane Spencer. It is now 3-0 Texas on top of the White Sox, who are reeling. Guys, back to you.
All right, Trey, that game in the top of the third now from Texas. The Rangers playing well all of a sudden.
And the Mets.
Nice mix of young guys with those veterans. The Mets have won every game in their homestand. Mike Piazza's back. He homered in his first game back. And Jim Edmonds in mid-swing realized that was a mistake. He struck out his first time.
Well, they had pitched him away the first time. That pitch was in. He was going out to get it, and he realized it was inside, and he couldn't stop his swing. And watch, he'll go out to get it, but the ball's inside. He can't do anything with it. Couldn't stop.
strike to Edmonds. With the Pujols out of the lineup, I'm hoping that Edmonds might pop one tonight. And he's got 30 home runs this year. And that's even though he's played for over a month with that shoulder injury.
And he hit a home run the other night, but he had not hit one for quite a while. But his shoulder must be getting better.
He's only had 5 hits in 36 at-bats in the month of August. Hitting about 140 in the month of August. So he had a big month of June. He had hit 4 homers leading into that All-Star game, then was not able to play very much after the All-Star break because of the injury. And just 1 homer in the month of August. A ball and a strike. Runner at first. That's a base hit. Abreu juggles it, but Palmeiro will go back to second. Abreu saw Palmeiro take a step toward third. He fired on through, and now that's the welcome for the former Philly, Scott Rowland.
Well, in yesterday's ball game, he had a home run off the facing in left field and had another base hit, so I guess he quieted him down yesterday for a while.
I mean, he really launched one here last night. I mean, the facing of the upper deck, or the mezzanine up there. Scott Rowland got 24 homers, 82 batted in. That's a big fly.
That's a big fly.
2 men on, 1 man out. That's a strike. Rowland struck out his first time. And that slider down and away. 1 ball, 1 strike to Rowland. Tino Martinez on deck. Palmeiro at second, Edmonds at first. There's some Rowland fans. And back out of play. Well, I can see if you're a Phillies fan how you'd be upset with Rowland. I mean, he sort of said he didn't want to stay here.
Let's take a look at this pitch. It's going to be in, even though it was supposed to be away. It's pretty much in the middle of the plate, and he fouled it back. He's missed a couple of pitches that he should have, normally hit. He's fouled them back.
One and 2 the count. Going inside. Too low. And didn't get it inside either.
No.
2-2.
Telemaco's control hasn't been as good as he would like, but I mean, he's back in the big leagues after 2 years. I'm sure that, his adrenaline's flowing highly and he's overthrowing a little bit.
Well, again, he did not get it inside.
Yeah, that was supposed to be another fastball up and in. And you can see he feels a little frustration because he's not able to get it up and in, but could be worse. This pitch is supposed to be in here, and you see where it is.
Now they've blended the booing with a Rowland, anti-Rowland cheer. Struck him out.
I don't think I've seen anything as bad as this, John, with this smaller crowd especially. This looks like a splitter. It goes straight down. Yeah, splitter or a sinker. But I think it was a splitter by the way he swung at it.
So 2 men gone, and now Tino Martinez. The Cardinals in this series, in their at-bats with runners in scoring position, have had only 3 hits in 24 at-bats now. They were 1 for 10 in those at-bats as a team last night. That's a strike to Tino Martinez. Tino hit a double down the left field line and scored a run. A couple of infield outs in the second. 2-2. They need a hit now with Palmeiro at second and Edmonds over at first. The runners will hold as the catcher Lieberthal kept that one in the vicinity of home plate. 1 ball, 1 strike. I mean, they weren't just booing Roland when he came to the plate. I mean, they booed him nonstop through the entire at bat.
And I think it surprised me a little bit because, you know, he's been gone for quite a while.
Lieberthal drops that one, and Palmeiro will take advantage. Palmeiro moves to third, although Edmonds held on at first. That looked like a pass ball. What do you think?
Well, that's not what I think. We better wait and see what he thinks. It is a pass ball.
I'm deferring to you on this one.
It should be a pass ball, but I have to wait till the official score decides. Okay, he agrees with me this time.
Two and one the count now to Tino Martinez. Runners at first and third. Got the ball in on the fist that time. Larry Boa, former Philly, who would be one of those guys who'd be sad to see the passing of this ballpark, I would think.
Well, he played here for a long time. Was a good shortstop here, and they won a championship here.
And he got the first hit in this ballpark. 2 on, 2 out. And Tino strikes out on the high fastball. Telemaco reached back, got a little something extra on that one. So for the Cardinals, the same old story. The lack of the clutch hit. Coming up, Joe Morgan talking hitting with the Phillies slugger Jim Thome.
Three-time champ Tiger Woods returns to the course that he's conquered in dramatic fashion.
Yes, it is.
The World Golf Championship Series continues as a stellar field vies for the NEC Invitational title.
Great golf.
Live coverage begins Thursday at noon Eastern on ESPN.
Time to get to work. It's Monday morning. If you haven't left yet, traffic is backed up on the 10. Taking a look at the 405.
Starbucks Double Shot Espresso drink is an invigorating blend of espresso and cream to help you take on your day.
There's a state where the national pastime is the game of what if. What if all cars were turbocharged? What if innovation were the official currency? Saabs are made in a state of independence, where freedom is held as tightly as the road. Welcome.
The Saab 9.3 Linear Sport Sedan, available during the Everyday is Independence Day summer sales event for as low as $299 a month.
The power is in your hands. The Wagner Wide Shot Power Painter. Professional results in about a third of the time. The one and only Wagner Power Painter. For guys who like to run wide open.
A stuffed crust. Put a cheese, give it cheese.
Don't tell me the pizza delivery guy saw you like that.
It's not delivery. It's DiGiorno.
So much cheese in the crust, it's hard to believe it's not delivery. It's DiGiorno.
Introducing the Power Mac G5, the world's fastest, most powerful personal computer.
There's a called strike to Placido Polanco, the former Cardinal. He was one of the players the Phillies acquired in the Scott Rowland trade last year. Polanco flat out deep to right his first time against Brett Tomko. That sinker down and in. 1 ball, 1 strike. Polanco will be followed by the power, Bobby Abreu, and then Jim Thome. There is Abreu on deck. Jim Thome in the hole. Back to third. Rolling. And there's one away. Joe Morgan and Jim Thome chatted before the game today. Let's listen.
You're old school. I mean, I really believe that, and that's a compliment. And I think the people will understand that as we talk here, because you have old school philosophy. And I was reading some things that your father told you. Your father, Chuck, was very close to you and very instrumental in getting you to the big leagues. Tell us about your father.
Well, he was a guy that obviously worked at Caterpillar there in Peoria for numerous years. And I just remember him, you know, when he'd come home from work, the first thing he did was he'd load up the truck and go down. He'd throw me balls. He'd hit me ground balls. And, you know, I remember in time in high school that, you know, when I walked in the door, he used to tell me, he said, Jim, you know what, it's not what you do when you walk in, it's what you do when you leave. And I've always kind of, even at the start of every year, because I've always had problems starting the year off and getting hot, that, you know, I always remember that and saying that, hey, look, you know, it's not what you do when you walk in, it's what you do when you leave, because this season is based on a marathon. It is such a long haul, and I've always, you know, applied that to him.
And as he said to me, it has worked out very well so far. So applying that theory does work.
Abreu bloops one into left field, and that's a base hit. So Abreu, who doubled along the left field line his first time, bloops a single to left this time. And he's on base once again for Jim Thome.
And what he was referring to, John, is he always gets off to a slow start. Every April, he just can't get away from it, he says. But so he always used that philosophy. It's not how I start, but how I end, and all the things I do in between. And so that was a good philosophy that his father gave him to start off, you know, his major league career. His dad also told him sometimes you have to play when they're nagging injuries, because there were times Jim didn't want to go out and play catch or whatever. His father said, let's go anyway. So his father had a lot to do with him making it to the big leagues.
And that's ball one, the sinker from Brett Tomko. Thome got jammed his first time and popped one up to the shortstop. But he's been hitting a lot of home runs here lately, 5 in just the last 7 games. Let's see how they're playing it. Oh, that ball hit a mile, headed for the new ballpark, upper deck.
Well, they've been trying to bust him inside, and they tried it last night. They missed and got it over the plate. He hit it out, and that's what happens here as well.
They want a curtain call from Thome. Here he comes.
Thome's homies. That works, huh?
I guess those people are from Ohio. Here is Lieberthal. Lieberthal walked his first time. Well, that's the 30th home run allowed this year by Brett Tomko, and he has given up more homers than any other pitcher in the National League.
I'm going to explain to you when we show a replay of how Thome approaches hitting, but he talks to us later in the telecast. He'll explain it himself, and you'll understand his philosophy as far as handling pitches inside and pitches away.
Can you imagine that Jim Thome, when he signed his first professional contract, he was a shortstop? That's ball 4 to Mike Lieberthal, who has walked in each of his trips to the plate.
Watch how his hips open up. That allows him to get the bat through the zone. Now watch him open, and that makes it easy to flow through the zone. I mean, that is a powerful swing right there. That's using everything you've got, your lower body, your hips, and your upper body.
Man. That was the 23rd upper deck home run to right field in the history of Veterans Stadium, and the second time that Thome has done it this year. Jim Edmonds did it Friday for the Cardinals in this series. Changed up that time, and Utley didn't get it. 1 ball, 1 strike. Utley singled home a run his first time. I mean, Jim Thome signed as a shortstop.
Yeah, he was 6'2". He said he was about 185. The statistics said 6'2", 175. And I asked him about that in our conversation. He was also a high-scoring guard in basketball in high school.
Wednesday, he hit one that did not quite make the upper deck.
It's a deeper part of the ballpark is the only reason it didn't make it.
I mean, that's way out there above that 371 marker in right center. Edmonds drifting back. This will stay in the yard. Deep into center, though, near that 408 marker. And Utley is the second out of the inning.
Well, the ball does travel well here in the summer, but when Thome hits them, it doesn't really matter where you're playing. That's where the ball hit we just saw from Wednesday over to Mike Schmidt, retired number, and off the facing.
Way back there, off the bat of Burrell, and that ball out of here. Burrell, who's been booed here regularly, having a horrible year, but they want him to take a curtain call now, and he does. And the big inning. The Cardinals have not been able to avoid it in St. Louis this weekend. There's Jimmy Rollins. Takes the ball. 1 ball, 1 strike to Rollins. The Phillies had a 4-run 6th inning yesterday that featured a couple of home runs. That's a foul. And in the Friday ball game, they had a 5-run 1st inning. 3rd game in a row with a big inning.
Well, Burrell, he had a great year last year. This is not as bad a pitch as you might think. It's away, and he goes out and pulls it back.
Rollins base hit. Six to 2 Phillies. 2 2-run homers in the inning. The second one by Burrell.
Well, you can see that's a very powerful swing as well, like Thome's, and he's pretty big. And this was a bomb also. That's a big fly right there. Not quite as deep as Thome's, but works. And there you see Larry Bohr. He gets a little excited at times. But we talked about it in the open, John. The Phillies have started to get a lot of clutch hits lately. I mean, they had a 4-game winning streak before tonight, but they're getting clutch hits, and they were not doing that early in the year. Their pitching is what kept them in the wild card race up until now. But they do have a pretty good offensive ball club if they can get Burrell on track and to add to what Thome and Abreu do in the middle, they will produce a lot of runs.
Telemaco grounded out his first time. Pat Burrell last year, his second full year in the big leagues, hit 37 homers and had 116 RBIs. So when they laid out the master plan for this year, I'm sure they penciled in similar numbers in expectations from Burrell. That's a strike, although Telemaco really bailing. La Russa, who may figure he needs some innings from Tomko tonight so as not to destroy his bullpen. Tomko had been roughed up here in the third. He gave up 2 in the first. But now home runs from both Thome and Burrell in this inning. And Maury thought that maybe since he was last in the big leagues, they changed one of the rules. No, it's still 4 balls and you get a walk. He was hoping to walk on ball 3. Runner goes. Big chop. Rolling. Sets himself. ESPN Sunday Night Baseball presented by Nextel. Tonight from Veterans Stadium in Philadelphia. The Phillies trying to maintain the wild card division lead. The Cardinals trying to move into a first place tie in the Central Division. Phillies have a 6-2 lead. Amaury Telemaco, who tonight has made it all the way back from arm surgery back to the big leagues. And he's got a 6-2 lead with which to work as Edgar Renteria leads off here. Ball and a strike. And there's Rollins throwing out his opposite number. Renteria. Renteria is 0 for 2. Brett Tomko roughed up. He's now given up 31 homers this year in 158 innings. There's Jimmy Jurnell, a Cardinal rookie, warming up in the bullpen. Tomko's due up 4th in this inning. They'll have to get a man on base to pinch hit for him. The batter will be Miguel Cairo. Cairo knocked in a run with an infield out his first time that was set up because of an infield out by Renteria. And that sinker's in there for a strike. I think Telemaco is throwing that fastball harder now than when the game started.
Well, I'm sure he's more relaxed now than he was at the beginning, but because he was overthrowing a little bit at the beginning.
And it's going to go out of play off to the right. 0-2 the count to Cairo. Widger, the catcher, is on deck. The Cardinals go home for 9 games after tonight's game, starting with Pittsburgh. Then next weekend the Phillies go to St. Louis. And then finally the Chicago Cubs at the end of August. And then on Labor Day they go to Chicago. They have 5 games in 4 days at Wrigley Field. One hop to third. Polanco. And that's all for Cairo. 2 away. Well, the White Sox are involved in that American League Central Division race, and you'll be able to see them in action tomorrow night. Michael Ordonez, Carlos Lee and company against the world champion Angels, who are having a poor encore season. They're not going anywhere this year. White Sox 2 games out in the Central Division, 2.5 games out now, as at the moment they are playing their ball game. First place Kansas City already has won its game over Minnesota 5-4. Twins are 3 games out. White Sox trying to get it back to within 2 if they can win in Texas. They're trailing there though. You saw Mike Matheny out on deck, so he apparently would pinch it for Tomko if Widger were to get aboard here. And strikes a ball. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Telemaco has thrown that first pitch strike 13 times to the 17 hitters he's faced, Joe.
Well, that's always the key for a guy that doesn't overpower you, is trying to get ahead and get the hitters to help you out a little bit.
Oh, right there, outside corner, strike 3. That was Telemaco's best inning of the game. Telemaco and the Phillies lead 6-2 after 3.5.
Coming up on SportsCenter, the official word on Michael Vick's fractured future, plus the answer on Kobe Bryant.
I've never met nobody in my life that's squeaky clean.
SportsCenter after the game, ESPN.
ESPN NFL football in stores September 4th.
Rated everyone.
Well, we went out searching for some waves. It was pretty mellow, actually.
Man, chill out.
The car ride out was good, except Luke kept taking his shoes off. Luke! Oh! We found the secret little surf spot. When we got there, the beach was totally empty. After a whole day of surfing, we just wanted to crash out.
The new Honda Element. Go with it.
You want to rerun all that dodging and weaving you did back then? There's one way to get it. Anytime you're interested, I can hook you up.
Is there something you want to talk about?
While we were out seeing how people use Dell PCs, we figured a few things out. Number 1, Darren can't navigate. 2, you should always watch where you park. And 3, when it comes to stuff like digital photography, Dell should bundle the things people use to get the most out of their PC. Back at Dell, our idea was huge. They made up all sorts of bundles that you can check out on our website. They even included some sweet advice on digital photography. And while Darren is still navigationally challenged, thanks to Dell, when it comes to getting the right PC and PC gear, at least you won't have to worry about getting lost.
Add a bundle to any new Dell system and get up to a $75 rebate. To learn more, visit us at Dell.com/roadtrip. And right now, a Dimension desktop with an Intel Pentium 4 processor is just $499 after an additional mail-in rebate. Plus, get a free 15-inch flat panel upgrade. Check out our notebooks, too. Your perfect PC and more. Easy as Dell. Dell PCs use Intel Pentium 4 processors.
Trey Wingo back with you in our baseball studios. Earlier we showed you Arizona's big win. How about the Giants' big loss? Expos down to their last strike in the 9th when Brad Wilkerson, a grand slam, his 2nd of the year. Expos win it 4-2. The Giants have lost 5 straight. Sidney Ponson still winless for the Giants. Back to you guys.
Ponson, who went into that 9th inning with a 3-hit shutout, got the first man out of the inning and never got anybody else out. Here's Jimmy Journell. Journell, 25-year-old rookie right-hander, throws hard, but he missed badly up and away to Marlon Byrd. And Mike Matheny also into the game now. The catcher, he'll hit 9th and lead off in the 5th inning. Journell will hit in the 8th spot. That slider is also high. Journell is in his 3rd big league game. He last worked on Tuesday. Against Pittsburgh. He was called up Monday from Memphis. Earlier in June, he'd been called up from Memphis for a brief time. That's a called strike on the outside. 3-1. Big guy, 6 feet 4 inches tall. 4th round draft choice of the Cardinals. Jimmy Journell. And that's back out of play. Bird, then Polanco, and Bobby Abreu due up. He appeared in 40 games at Memphis this year, including 7 starts. He was much better in relief, 5-1 with a 2.43 ERA as a reliever. It looks like he got a lot of movement on that 96-mile-an-hour fastball that ran in under the hands of Bird.
Most of the time when you throw real hard, the ball's pretty straight.
Three and 2. That's back out of play again. Again, 96 miles an hour. He was only 1-5 as a starting pitcher with a 5.54 ERA. But outstanding as a reliever. He's out of the University of Illinois. And strike 3. That one just took off. And Bird could not catch it. 1 away. This is the final year for Veterans Stadium. And just outside is the new ballpark being erected. Starting to look like a ballpark now. And that's a live shot from in the upper deck out in right field here at the Vet. That's where our shot was coming from. That looked like a 90-mile-an-hour slider to Polanco. 17 games left here at the Vet.
In the regular season, they're hoping that there are more. Some in the postseason.
The new ballpark, by the way, will be the Citizens Bank ballpark. Placido Polanco is flied out deep to right and grounded out to third. He is 0 for 2. And Journell misses. Down and away. 1 ball and 2 strikes. 6-2. The Phillies on top. An eruption in the third. They had a 5-run first inning on Friday night and a 4-run 6th inning last night and a 4-run 3rd inning tonight. 2 balls, 2 strikes. So the big inning, the Cardinals have not been able to stay out of it this weekend at the Vet. Pat Burrell got in the action here today against Brett Tomko. Is Renteria, and Polanco is thrown out number 2. Joe talked some hitting with Jim Thome before the game. Let's revisit that conversation.
Most players today dive into the ball. You open your hips. How did you develop that style?
Well, I developed it from Charlie Manuel. Charlie was a hitting instructor in Cleveland and then went on to be our manager, but I had him at every level. And when I was in the minor leagues, I remember in AAA, you know, I was hitting like 330 or something in AAA, and everybody kept asking, when is he going to the big leagues? When is Jim going to the big leagues? And I remember him telling me, you'll never make it in the big leagues yet unless you're able to turn on the ball, because they'll come at you, they'll be out there on your weaknesses. And for me, I think the big difference was being able to open up. I remember you talking to Barry, you know, a week or 2 ago, and he said the big difference for him was now his hips. He can rotate his hips and get to the ball much easier inside. And every good hitter, you know, is going to get pitched inside. You know that.
Right. And that explains exactly how he hit the home run. I mean, they're going to pitch him inside. He opens his hips, and he hits the ball. But the great thing that he does is that he puts his back foot closer to the plate, and he has good plate coverage. He can cover the outside part of the plate as well. So, I mean, he is, you know, he's a pretty good hitter. I mean, he just, only time he makes mistakes is, you know, some off-speed pitches away he'll chase. But other than that, he really hammers the ball in the middle of the plate in.
A walk to Bobby Abreu in front of Thome to keep the inning going.
Hey, let's take a look at the home run. Here's his feet. Now, his back foot is close to the plate here. And that allows him to cover the outside part of the plate. But you can see that ball there is pretty much in the middle of the plate. They were trying to get inside. And that's the problem with pitching him inside, Barry Bonds, some of these big hitters. You pitch them inside, you may get them out. But if you miss a little bit, they hit the ball out of the ballpark. Now we see a different approach.
Missed off the outside that time.
Yeah, and I think when you're pitching to a guy that's swinging the bat as well as Thome has the last few days, you have to stay away from him and let him hit the ball. He can hit it out in the left center, there's no doubt, but make him go that way. They're set up outside again.
He's hit more opposite field home runs than any other National Leaguer. He's hit 12 homers of his 33 to the opposite field.
And I think if you're pitching to him, you say, okay, go ahead.
But he leads all major leaguers with 12 opposite field homers. Oh!
That was a slider.
I can't believe that didn't hit him.
Well, but see, because he doesn't dive in, he actually moves away, and that allows him, he's under control. He's not diving in with his front shoulder. See, he's able to move off the plate. He didn't dive in, and if he was diving, he would have gotten hit right there.
Well, he gets the walk. I mean, Journell, and you can see he's got great stuff. He's not always sure where the ball is going. But that breaking ball he threw to Thome, that ball had quite a break to it. Well, Thome in the 3 games of this series has homered in all 3 games. Let's go back. Friday night against Pedro Borbon. That solidified their lead. They were at 5-4 when he hit this 2-run shot. Then last night against Danny Herron, the rookie, he lost one again, and then in the 3rd inning tonight.
And John, all those pitches were middle in. They were all mistakes, so to speak. They did not get them in far enough.
And right over Matheny to the backstop. So Abreu, who walked, now goes to 3rd. Thome, who walked, moves to 2nd. On the wild pitch, thrown by Journell. He got the first 2 hitters of the inning. That has become his own worst enemy here.
And when a guy throws as hard as he does and he gets it up that high, it's very difficult for the catcher to get up as quickly as you would like. That's Mike Matheny not able to control that pitch.
Jason Lieberthal, who was walked twice already tonight, and that changeup in there for a strike. Lieberthal hitting .321 for the year, an excellent hitter. And that one ran in on him, and he fouled it back to the screen. 1-2. Phillies on front 6-2, trying to sweep the Cardinals here in Philly. Fastball missed. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Utley, the rookie, on deck, although a left-handed hitter.
You can see why the Cardinals like Journell. I mean, he's got a live fastball, John. I mean, his ball, he's got some giddy up on the fastball.
Whoa, doggy.
Yeah.
Oh, man,
Right
that's
there.
just what you're talking about, and he blew him away. Whoa, doggies. I'm going with that from now on. A little giddy up. 6-2 Phillies.
Range Rover by Land Rover. The Home Depot is more than a store. It's finally starting that new deck. It's changing colors and opening minds. It's making garage space for a new driver. Right now, families with kids are getting a little money back on their taxes. It could be the perfect time to start that project you've been waiting for and invest in something sure to grow for years to come. The Home Depot. You can do it. We can help.
Give your engine what it wants. Pennzoil with time release protection helps keep engines running stronger, longer. Not just oil, Pennzoil.
Trey Wingo with you in our baseball studios. White Sox trying to end their 4-game losing streak, down at 1.3-0 in the 4th inning. Jose Valentin, a 2-run double to tie it at 3. They take the lead on a sac fly. They now lead at 4-3. They're 2.5 games coming in behind the Royals. Guys, back to you.
All right, Trey and Valentin and the White Sox. I mean, they've got some offense, but they've had a bad week. They need a win tonight. Yeah, the Cardinals, they wouldn't mind winning tonight. They'd tie for first in the National League Central if they could get one. But as Mike Matheny leads off against Telemaco, the Cardinals are down 6-2. Top of the order to follow. Bohart on deck. That ball driven to left field. Quickly back is Burrell. He's there. One away.
John, one of the things we were talking about is that Thome is old school. That means he sets up open. Right here, you see, this is Jim Edmonds. He sets up, and most hitters today dive in. Thome, you can see, just sets up square to the pitcher. There's Edmonds, goes in with his front shoulder. Now watch Thome. He never dives in. That front shoulder pulls out a little bit. This is more like the style of Willie Mays, Hank Aaron, and the hitters from that era. You know, that's why I say he was kind of old school, because he is not diving in. You see his whole body, everything is going this way. I remember having a conversation with Willie Mays once, and I asked what size bat he used.
Bohart, the hitter, takes the ball.
And he said, I use 35-inch, 33 ounces, or 34 ounces. And I said, why such a big bat? He says, well, I have to leave something there, because when I bail, I'm gone, and I have to leave the bat behind. So, I mean, that's really the style. That's why when I said earlier that Jim Thome is kind of old school, I meant in his philosophy on hitting, just the way he is as a player, and his approach.
From the hole, that's Jimmy Rollins, and Hart is retired. A couple of Northern California natives there. Rollins from the East Bay. Were you matriculated as a young student?
Yes, in East Bay.
And Bo Hart from the Santa Cruz area. All right, so I mean, all this old school talk. I mean,
yeah.
I mean, it's become more popular for guys to kind of dive in toward the plate over the years.
Well, and obviously it's very successful. I mean, guys that kind of go in and dive in with their front shoulder, they handle the outside pitch better. And for a long time, pitchers pitched outside. I think that's why you're seeing more hitters hit now than ever before, because pitchers are now coming back inside, trying to take the inside part of the plate back. And so many batters are diving out over the plate, they get hit. And once you dive out, you can't come back. That's the problem. Because we've seen batters get hit with balls that are maybe 3 inches off the plate or something.
George Brett, one of your fellow Hall of Famers. How would you describe him as a hitter?
Beautiful.
But was he?
He was kind of old school. He started off the plate, kind of dove in a little bit. He was kind of a combination, and I think that's the theory. He had a combination. He kind of went into the ball a little bit, but once he went in, he was square to the pitcher. Like we saw with Barry last week. Barry Bonds was talking about the fact that, you know, he squares up to the pitcher.
It's a strike to Orlando Palmeiro, who has homered and singled against Telemaco.
But George Brett did kind of dive in a little bit more than Barry does, but very similar at impact.
2-2 the count to Palmeiro. And that is Rollins. It's a 3-up, 3-down inning. Telemaco has retired the last 8 hitters he's faced. 6-2 Phillies. Utley, then Pat Burrell coming up.
SWAT is the most honored police division in the world.
Okay, guys. This is what we're trained for.
73, David, I need an RA unit.
Mount up. We got the call.
Nextel's walkie-talkie, coast to coast. Nextel SWAT, now in theaters.
I'm sorry, I was driving too fast.
No, really, totally my fault.
The good thing is we're okay.
There's so many more important things in life.
If I'm not mistaken, you must be gelling like a felon.
Are you gelling yet? Dr. Scholl's massaging gel insoles are made from the softest gel ever created. If you and your shoes don't feel outrageously comfortable, you get your money back. Guaranteed.
Come on, move it!
Listen to that yelling. He's so not gelling.
Are you gelling? Dr. Scholl's.
Nissan came up with some great ways to move you. The Nissan Sentra has a powerful engine, an available 180-watt 7-speaker stereo, and an 8-way adjustable driver's seat. Now get 0.9 financing or $1,500 cash back on all new 2003 Nissan Sentras. Only at your Nissan dealer. It's your move.
The power is in your hands. The Wagner Wide Shot Power Painter. Professional results in about a third of the time. The one and only Wagner Power Painter. For guys who like to run wide open.
Fathers taking their sons to a ball game. Tonight we're at Veterans Stadium in Philadelphia. I'm John Miller with Joe Morgan. The Philadelphia Phillies making the hometown fans very happy. In a very sort of peppy mood right now. As Chase Utley, the rookie, out in the right center. And Palmeiro. There is one away. Utley now 1 for 3 with an RBI. Tomorrow night at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific, join Al Michaels, John Madden, and Lisa Guerrero in St. Louis for a preseason special of Monday Night Football. Warren Sapp and the Super Bowl champion Bucks take on Marshall Faulk and the Rams. Marshall Faulk coming back from an injury. Kurt Warner, the quarterback, who just had an injury-plagued season last year. Eagles have some. Apparently, some people here didn't realize the Eagles played yesterday. They came out tonight with their Eagles banner. Eagles played and won last night in their exhibition game. As Burrow, who hit a comeback for his first time, then he launched a soaring home run the last time. It capped a 4-run third-inning rally against Brett Tomko's Jimmy Journell, the rookie, who's got a great arm, but he's 3-0 to Burrow here. Burrow out of the University of Miami, former Hurricane. Fastball to strike. 3-1.
I think there's some time, during a game when a guy's been struggling, he hits a home run. I think 3-0, I would have let him hit right there.
And he gets the walk.
Because you're already at the bottom of the order, and this guy can get back for you.
Jimmy Rollins comes up now. He's wearing a microphone, and let's listen into some of his goings-on earlier.
But I do, you got to give a shout out to the people back home in Oakland. Thome. Jimmy Thome.
Larry Bowen. Your product.
I asked Larry Boyd today. It's a delicate question, I guess. I said, look, a lot of people feel like that you're wound too tight, and maybe that affects your players. And what do you say to those people who would question your managing ability because of you're wired too tight? He said, well, if fighting for my players when things go wrong, pulling for them, showing emotion is wrong, he said, well, then I have a problem. But what he basically says is the problem is that he's standing there and the camera's on him a lot of times, and they get an emotion from him, a reaction from him, and it's a problem. But, he says that, look, he just tries to get the players to play hard, and he's kind of fiery.
1-2 the count to Rollins. Strike 3 call. Rollins now 1 for 3. 2 down.
Well, caught the inside corner knee high. Definitely high enough. I think Rollins felt it was off the corner inside. It was definitely high enough.
Here's Telemaco. Telemaco's got the Tony Batista batting stance. Batista, who hits a lot of home runs for the Baltimore Orioles. Telemaco is 0 for 2 tonight. Got that wide open stand. Looks just like a taller Tony Batista. That's a fastball for a strike. But getting back to Larry Bowen, I mean, he is, if you're television like we are doing a ball game, you love him because he gives you lots of great shots. When he's upset, when he's excited, it's out there. Renteria. And he throws out Telemaco. So we head to the 6th inning. Some power coming up for the Cardinals. Remember, Pujols out of the lineup with the flu. Edmonds coming up.
You know, we'll get you another hamster.
Good job.
Didn't the real estate agent say they were closing the ball field?
Do you have confidence in your real estate agent? Century 21 Pledge Point number 2. Century 21 agents are honest and forthright. Just one of the ways to help reduce the stress of buying real estate. Go to century21.com to help select this season's Hank Aaron Award winner.
I'm not sure where these seats are.
Who cares? At least they're free. No wonder they were free.
You never know when an opportunity will turn out golden, like at the Lexus Golden Opportunity Sales Event. You'll find incredible values on all your favorite Lexus vehicles.
Going once, going twice, sold for $2 million. Congratulations, sir.
See your Lexus dealer.
Don't miss the action when K1 returns to Las Vegas. K1 Battle at the Bellagio. Can 6'5", 390-pound former pro football player and K1 sensation Bob Sapp take down the world's toughest fighters. Meteoric knockout champion Carter Williams. Fearsome kung fu prodigy Kung Lee. Indestructible Grandmaster Rick Rufus. ESPN pay-per-view presents K1 Battle at the Bellagio this month on DirecTV pay-per-view.
At DirecTV, we've got something extra for everyone. The Total Choice Plus package adds over 15 additional channels to Total Choice, all for just a few dollars more, bringing you more adventure, more laughs, more exploration, more music, and more entertainment choices for everyone in the family. Over 130 channels in all, including local channels. Total Choice Plus. It's an easy and affordable way to get more out of your DirecTV. Visit DirecTV.com or call 1-800-DirecTV and order today.
ESPN Sunday Night Baseball, presented by Nextel, brought to you by Century 21, the official real estate organization of Major League Baseball.
Veterans Stadium in Philadelphia. It is a 6-2 Phillies lead over the Cardinals. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Office of the Commissioner of Baseball and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without express written consent. And MLB.com is the widest selection of items for all the teams that you happen to love. Whichever one it is, it's all there at MLB.com. Check it out. Jim Edmonds, first ball swinging, yanks a foul against Telemaco. Edmonds has struck out and singled to right. 1 for 2. He'll be followed by Scott Rowland. And see, Edmonds comes up. And this guy's a tough player. The Phillies fans are reacting with indifference to Edmonds' appearance at the plate. I mean, if he strikes out or something, they'll be excited about it. But wait till you hear what they have planned for Scott Rowland when he strikes to the plate.
And I think it's a little overkill there, because I think they made their point.
They made it last year when the Cardinals came in after Rowland's trade to St. Louis. And they made it again Friday night, the first game of this series. They made it last night. But some of them are not booing. They're still rocking for Rowland. And some miss him here at Philly. A little bit low with that fastball. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Jim Edmonds. Playing without Albert Pujols tonight are the Cardinals. Without their number 1 slugger. When he's in there and everybody's healthy and going well, it's an imposing lineup. Jim Thome. Telemaco with the putout. And they cheer Thome, but all of a sudden Rowland heading for the plate.
But John, I think also, according to reports, he took less money to go to St. Louis than he had been offered here in Philadelphia.
He really just did not want to stay here.
That may be part of the reason they were upset.
Although we really got a graphic look as to what takes priority for Phillies fans tonight. Is it cheering a great play by Jim Thome, their current star, or booing Scott Rowland? Booing clearly outweighed the other.
Well, I guess that's the former player in me. I don't like this, and I mean that. I don't. But they have a right to do it since they paid their money.
Going back in right field is Abreu. He's under it now. He jumps up and catches it. He started to square up, but then had to jump. Even cheering the catch there by Abreu, lost out of the end of the booing for Rowland.
Nice play by Abreu, who is a good outfielder. He gets back to the wall and comes down with it.
Tino Martinez. 1 ball, no strikes. Tino hit a double to left his first time and scored a run, then struck out his last time. Utley throws him out. Telemaco is on a roll. He's retired 11 in a row since the 3rd inning. Top of the order coming up for the Phillies.
Excuse me, madam. Would the lady accompany this gentleman to the dance floor?
This real deal moment brought to you by Baby Ruth. Want a light Baby Ruth? Eat half. Baby Ruth from Nestle, the real deal.
Have you checked out BestBuy.com? There's even more stuff here. Now, this is for what again? Nature photography? Oh, cool. We should probably get you a longer zoom. Yeah.
Think our store is big? Check out BestBuy.com. Thousands of possibilities. Get yours.
This real deal moment brought to you by Baby Ruth. Take this out to the ball game. Baby Ruth from Nestle, the real deal.
The Saturn Ion has plenty of passenger space if you're ready for that next big step. And 140 horsepower engine if you're not. And electric power steering if you are. And dent-resistant side panels if you need some time to think about it. Get a new 2003 Saturn Ion L Series Review at 0% APR financing and $1,000 toward your down payment. For restrictions, see your retailer.
This real deal moment brought to you by Baby Ruth. Wake up and smell the peanuts. Baby Ruth from Nestle, the real deal.
Coming this fall, ESPN has a new fall series. The Division Series.
There they go. The Angels have
the new fall lineup premieres September 30th at 1 p.m. only on ESPN. The race is on.
So we'll see. It's September the 30th. And the question is, will we see the Phillies there? Will we see the Cardinals there? Will we see both of them? Neither of them? That has not yet been decided. As Marlon Byrd, the Phillies leadoff man, with a count of 1 ball, 1 strike now, facing Jimmy Jornell, the Cardinal rookie, in his 3rd Major League game. I'm John Miller with Joe Morgan. And Byrd spanks one into right, but there is Palmeiro. And Byrd is now 0 for 3 with a walk. He walked and scored a run back in the 1st inning. Tonight's telecast, our Sunday night telecast from Philly, is available on ESPN HD, our new ESPN high definition service, presented with help of Phillips and Best Buy. And Joe, we've got our own high definition monitor right here in the booth, and you can not only get the great clarity, there's the view of the normal aspect ratio. As you see on the sides there, that's what you don't see. But then in the new high definition service, you get that extra view. You can see both third and first base, which in the other shot on normal television you would not see. One of the benefits of the new high definition service. For more information, contact your local cable operator or satellite provider. Tell them you want it. You want the ESPN HD. It'll put you right in the ballpark.
It definitely puts you in the ballpark.
You get more of what's going on and a much clearer view of it. It's like looking through a window at the action. Placido Polanco, who is 0 for 3, facing Journal. He's flied out deep to right, twice grounded out to third. The Phillies need a win to remain a half game ahead of Florida in the wild card. Palmeiro gets this one. 2 men gone. Palmeiro was not in the original lineup, only put in there when it was determined that Albert Pujols just was not going to be able to make it tonight. He got a high fever, flu-like symptoms. La Russa himself had some flu problems over the last few days. They've got Jason Pearson, a rookie just brought up from the minors a couple of days ago in the bullpen, and with Abreu and then Thome due up, La Russa is going to make a move here, and Jason Pearson will make his major league debut when we come back.
A shift can change a person, a life, the world, or it can simply change the way you move through it.
Mike's been talking about sending his boys to his alma mater since they were born. When he started getting ready for it financially, he talked to me.
We live where you live.
Now the same State Farm agent who helped you plan for just in case can help you with what could be with education savings plans and other funding options. For help with banking, insurance, and investing, talk to your agent today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Since Cal Ripken's family got their new HP digital photography system from Radio Shack, things just haven't been the same.
Hey, Dad, guess who just moved in next door?
Who?
Ozzy.
Ozzy? Ozzy Smith? I haven't seen him since the fishing trip after the last All-Star game. Man.
Let Radio Shack show you how simple it is to shoot and print your own digital photos. Now save $75 when you buy an HP digital camera and HP photo printer.
Hey, Dad.
This isn't my Ozzy.
Radio Shack, you've got questions, we've got answers.
All I want is a room somewhere.
A comfy space I don't have to share. A workout.
A pool. Breakfast complimentary. Yeah.
And a welcome, Mr. Watson. Good to see you.
And how about a fresh cup of Joe?
At Hampton Inn, you got it, people. From folks who'll do everything to make you feel completely loverly, utterly satisfied. We love having you here.
Stuffed crust. Who the cheese? You the cheese.
Don't tell me the pizza delivery guy saw you like that.
It's not delivery. It's DiGiorno.
So much cheese in the crust, it's hard to believe it's not delivery. It's DiGiorno.
Veterans Stadium in Philadelphia, and here is Jason Pearson. He's actually making his Cardinals debut. He did pitch in 2 games late last year as a San Diego Padre. So let me set that straight. This is his Cardinal debut. He was acquired late in spring training as a minor league free agent. And his first pitch is a curveball for a strike to Bobby Abreu.
And Tony La Russa said he never saw him pitch either. He brought him over in emergency guy that was going to pitch if the game went extra innings. And they never had that situation happen
in spring training. Here he is in the big leagues. They sent Pedro Borbon back to the minor leagues, and he was giving up some big hits in crucial moments late in games.
And the real problem was he was giving up hits on 0-2 pitches. He was ahead in the count.
And that's in there for a strike. Pearson is 27 years old, out of Illinois State University. At Memphis this year, he was in 40 games, all as a reliever, 3-4 with a 3.3 earned run average. Started the year in Double-A for the Cardinals. At Tennessee, and gave up no runs in 9 games. And that curveball misses. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Originally signed by the Florida Marlins in 1998 out of Illinois State as a non-drafted free agent. So this guy's been in sort of on the outside looking in for several years, trying to get to the big leagues. He's got another shot here with the Cardinals, and that curveball misses. And La Russa, who just we both talked to him, and he said he didn't really know that much about Pearson because he'd never seen him. So he's as interested as everybody else to find out what Pearson can do, especially against these 2 lefties. I mean, that's the way La Russa would want to use him. So in some way, he may be finding out if he's going to use him against lefties in a tight spot. A curveball slapped on the ground to Bo Hart. Well, he gets that lefty. Bobby Abreu retired. Abreu retired for the first time tonight. 6-2, Philadelphia after 6.
It takes focus, determination, innovative technology, but they're nothing without the human effort. That's what it takes to create new medicines. Like the 3 Bristol-Myers Squibb medicines that helped me beat my cancer.
Today, Bristol-Myers Squibb's breakthrough treatments bring hope to those with cancer, heart disease, and other illnesses.
Hope, triumph, and the miracle of medicine. Bristol-Myers Squibb Company.
3-time champ Tiger Woods returns to the course that he's conquered in dramatic fashion.
Yes, it is.
The World Golf Championship Series continues as a stellar field vies for the NEC Invitational title.
Great golf.
Live coverage begins Thursday at noon Eastern on ESPN.
Would you like to own your own business and enjoy financial independence? Nationwide Cyber Systems introduces the most exciting business opportunity of the 21st century, the Wi-Fi Public Internet Terminal. This amazing machine offers high-speed internet access, email, and video email for only 25 cents per minute, payable by cash or credit card. The machine is also a wireless access point, where up to 100 users at the same time can receive high-speed wireless internet service for only $3.95 an hour or $7.95 a day. Nationwide can start you in a turnkey business and help you secure the most profitable locations in your area before someone else gets them. You can start part-time and expand according to your own timetable. Call now for your free video and information package. There is unlimited income potential. Don't delay. The best locations won't last long.
ESPN Sunday Night Baseball, presented by Nextel. Tonight from Veterans Stadium in Philadelphia. I'm John Miller with Joe Morgan. And here we go to the 7th inning of the game, which the Phillies are leading 6-2. And the Cardinals, who have not had a hit, nor have they had a base runner since the 3rd inning. And there's ball 1 from Mauri Telemaco facing Edgar Renteria. Renteria, Cairo, and then the pitcher spot due up. Renteria has grounded to first and grounded to short tonight. A lot of sink on that one. 2 balls, no strikes.
Well, you know what that tells me, John? Maybe he's starting to tire a little bit. Because when a guy's arm starts to tire and he throws a sinker, it sinks a little bit more. And you have to watch him anyway because he's pitched 155 innings in the minor leagues. And they just got off the phone to the bullpen because I think it's about that time you have to start really watching him very carefully.
Threw a lot of pitches early in the game, but not so many the last 3 innings. Right to Utley, and Renteria gets into some bad luck that time. In the Cardinal bullpen, we have a microphone, and Simon Tachi first had one out there, but he gave it to Steve Klein. Let him wear it.
Can you hear me okay, cameraman? Am I saying anything bad? Bad or not? Yes or no?
He can't hear you.
Can you hear me?
He can't. He can read your lips, though.
Can you hear me now?
No, he don't.
Oh.
See, that's why when we gave it to Simon Tachi, we had one of our highly trained professionals give him instructions on how to use it and also installed it for him beautifully. This is a clear indication as to why we do that.
But you also have to remember Steve Klein is left-handed. That accounts for that. Yeah, Simon Tachi is right-handed.
This is Simon Tachi has to start warming up now, so he gave the mic to Klein, to the old left-hander.
Yeah.
Miguel Cairo, the hitter, 0 for 2. I like that look, though, when he was wearing it on the bill of his cap. So Taguchi has come out on deck for the Cardinals. That Phillies bullpen action, by the way, is underway, just as Joe had detected. There's Terry Adams up. Pitching coach Joe Kerrigan had alerted the bullpen. Phillies bullpen's been pretty strong this year, although Jose Mesa was having his problems at the end of games. Actually, they took him out of the closer's role for a couple of weeks, and he just got back last night and got a save. That's off the outside. Kerrigan, I guess, had detected some flaws in Mesa's motion, and they worked on it. And they took him out of that high-pressure closer's role for a while, worked on the side.
That's Joe Kerrigan, the pitching coach for the Phillies.
2-2 the count. And a foul off to the left.
Well, when you mention Mesa, it's kind of funny because I laughed at Board today. He said Mesa's the closer until he gets 2 guys on, and then he might bring someone else in. But he said, don't worry if you have somebody warming up, you know, in the bullpen when you're throwing. But Mesa did a good job of closing the game out in last night.
2-2 to Cairo. And that's foul. And Jose Oquendo, he didn't used to boot him like that.
Well, he had a glove before.
But that's true.
We'll give him a little slack on that one.
That ball's hit too hard to
try to barehand it. I don't know.
I started to say to try to glove barehanded. English. So difficult for me. 2-2 the count. I'm learning, though.
John, it was so funny. When I was at the Hall of Fame this year, they showed the pitchers, and I saw pictures of some players who played pre-1800 and stuff and such. They didn't have gloves. They barehanded. They didn't have gloves.
But not pre-18.
Well, 17. Well, whatever.
And they had photographs.
Yeah, they had photographs. Well, it was old ones,
back in the 19th
depictions.
century.
Well, depictions of them. But they were without gloves. I couldn't believe it. There's a second baseman in the Hall of Fame didn't use a glove.
Well, you kept talking to Thome about old school.
Yeah, that's real old school.
Now that was old school.
I mean, they have guys in the Hall of Fame who didn't use a glove. I mean, that's amazing to me.
In fact, some of the real old school guys.
There's Red.
Now Red, I believe he used a glove, but he used
a bat. He
used to leave it on the field when he'd go into bat.
Yeah, for the other guys, they'd leave them out there. They didn't have enough.
Cairo, but that one foul.
But it also explains a little bit about why guys could hit 400. I mean, if I hit a line drive, they're not going to barehand it and catch it too often, or make diving plays on you. See, that helps the batting average.
Well, that was the old school style.
Yeah.
Now, to me, that was old school.
That's real old school.
Yeah. The school you're talking about?
Yeah.
That's really I call that the modernist school.
All right. That's just the flavor, from that we homies use.
They used to call the old school of baseball from the 19th century. That was the Hudson River Valley school of. We could really go with this whole school.
There's some homies. See, there's Thome's homies.
Thome plays in a postmodernist school of baseball. Cairo deep to left field. Burrell is back. He's got room. And on the warning track, he's got it. Out number 2. We asked Larry Ball about his decision to put Mesa back in the closer role last night. Joe Morgan was talking about it. Here's what he said.
We're going to let Mesa go back out there, and I've already talked to him about if he runs into trouble, you know, if somebody's warming up, I don't want him to get irate or anything, but that's the way it is. He's had some problems. We think that we changed his motion a little bit, got him from crouching over to more stand-up-ish, and he's still throwing the ball good velocity-wise. His location hasn't been what it should be, and hopefully he rectified it down there in the bullpen.
Here is Taguchi, the pinch hitter for Jason Pearson. Taguchi, who is from Japan, just back from the minor leagues. Used to be with the Oryx Blue Wave. He swung at that one, says Ed Rapuano, the first base umpire, on the appeal. Became the Cardinals' first native Japanese player in club history. Played for them last year. And a big breaking ball outside from Telemaco. 1 ball, 2 strike. Well, Telemaco, this is a pretty good debut for him.
Great.
He missed a couple of years with that shoulder problem. He basically was rehabbing it almost all last year. Check swing foul. Still 1-2. At Scranton Wilkes-Barre, he was 10-9 overall, but he won his last 4 starts in a row. And it was at that point that they brought him up to the big leagues.
Kind of interesting. You look at the Phillies, they have a lot of young pitchers in the minor leagues that they think are going to be pretty good, but they weren't willing to risk bringing any of them up to pitch in a pennant race.
He strikes out Taguchi. He has retired 14 in a row. Jim Thome, who's homered in each game of this series, including one tonight, is coming up.
SWAT is the most honored police division in the world.
Okay, guys. This is what we trained for.
73, David, I need an RA unit.
Line up. We got the call.
Nextel's walkie-talkie, coast to coast. Nextel SWAT, now in theaters.
The Home Depot is more than a store. It's finally starting that new deck. It's changing colors and opening minds. It's making garage space for a new driver. Right now, families with kids are getting a little money back on their taxes. It could be the perfect time to start that project you've been waiting for and invest in something sure to grow for years to come. The Home Depot. You can do it. We can help.
Well, we had an amazing road trip. It was incredible. There's nothing better than getting the guys together and hanging out for the weekend. We got a little lost on the way. Eric had the map.
Once again, you're pointing here, he's pointing over there.
247?
247! Thank you!
We have a mountain bike that did a little rock climbing. We met some friends out there, some girls. Somebody came in acting like an idiot. It could have been done at a different time, but I got back at him. You can't beat a road trip like that, and I'd go again any day.
The new Honda Element. Go with it.
Vinny, what are you doing stinking up my stuff?
These things are magic, Mikey. Anybody can hit in these.
Anybody, huh?
The new MLB Authentic Collection Performance Batting Practice jerseys and caps are here. Now, anyone can get them.
Trey Wingo back with you in our baseball studios. When we last checked in on the White Sox and Rangers, it was the White Sox with a 4-3 lead. Not anymore. Alex Rodriguez continues to put up A-Rod numbers. Solo shot his 33rd homer of the season. Brand new game tied at 4. John and Joe, back to you.
All right, and here it is 6-2. The Phillies out in front. Gary Varsho, the Phillies bench coach, his daughter, Andy, led the crowd in singing God Bless America between innings. And she did a beautiful job. A beautiful voice, and I'm sure a great proud time for Gary Varsho, the Phillies bench coach, his daughter Andy, in front of a big crowd here at the Vet. And as Scott Rowland well knows, it's a tough crowd. Here's Jason Simon-Tachi on to pitch now for the Cardinals. And he's going to come in and face Jim Thome. Simon-Tachi was in the rotation for the Cardinals. And now to the bullpen. He's made 15 starts and 15 relief appearances. 8-4 overall. And he wow, that was a real slow curveball. 0-1 the count to Jim Thome. Thome has popped to short, hit a homer into the upper deck, only the 23rd homer ever to reach the upper deck in right field in Veterans Stadium history, and he has walked. It's the first time he's come to the plate with nobody on base. And that fastball is in the dirt.
Do you have a list of those 23 guys that hit home runs up there?
No.
I was just checking to see if I was on that list.
Oh, you hit a few into the upper deck here, did you?
No, I just said I was checking.
Oh, like you might have forgotten about it? I might have hit a couple up there. I really don't remember.
Yeah, I can't remember. That's Willie Stargell right there. And that's a big fly right there. A real one. Look at that.
Wow.
Stargell has some stars at quite a few places. In old Pittsburgh stadiums. And hit one completely out of Dodger Stadium. I mean, he has some big blast around the National League.
For a long time, he was the only one ever to hit one completely out of Dodger Stadium. And he did it twice.
Yeah.
A ball and 2 strikes to Jim Thome. Thome now, with 5 homers in his last 5 games, has 33 homers for the year. Last year, he hit 52 homers for the Cleveland Indians. And the Cardinals wouldn't mind if he took a shot at that, or the Phillies wouldn't mind if he took a shot at that this year. That would have made a huge finish right down the stretch from Thome. Thome, certainly a veteran of many pennant races with Cleveland, although a lot of those pennant races were ones where the Indians went into September with about an 18-game lead. They used to blow teams away in that Central Division. To left field, Cairo, and Thome is retired this time.
John, they had the PGA Championship today in New York, not far from here, and some of the golfers. We're going to show you a golf swing that looks a little bit like Thome's swing. Watch the hips. Phil Mickelson. And there you see the finish, kind of similar. Thome a little bit more lean back, sort of for elevation.
0-1 to Mike Lieberthal. Lieberthal has walked twice and struck out tonight. Well, except the ball that Thome's swinging at moves.
That's a big difference. You're right.
And that's caught by Tino Martinez. Nicely done after a long run. 2 down.
I've been often asked what's the most difficult thing, you know, hitting a golf ball or a baseball, and really there's no comparison because the golf ball sits there until we get ready to hit it. And the baseball is moving.
Now, I read on ESPN.com this week you had the Joe Morgan chat. Did you do that every week?
Yes, every week, every Friday.
And somebody asked you about the golf.
Oh, yeah.
Whether Phil Mickelson was going to win the big tournament, the major tournament. And you said you didn't think so.
Well, I said I think when he does win his first championship, he'll be coming from behind.
I mean, he had just shot a 66.
I know, but that put him out front. That put people out front. It's a little different. I think he's one of those guys that if he on the final day, if he's out in front, goes out and shoots a good score, I think he'll win one that way.
It'd be, I feel almost like I'm working with Johnny Miller now. Joe is always ripping those golfers. Here's Chase Utley. Now, I want you to analyze Phil Mickelson again, but I want you to do it as if we're at the golf tournament.
Oh, okay.
I mean, you're speaking, lower your voice a little bit.
All right, I got you. Like a little bit like this. Phil is getting ready to make his swing. drive the ball on the 18th hole.
Yeah, I think it's still a little bit loud. Yeah, Phil is complaining about all the noise from up here. Soft liner hit by Utley right to Tino, and that's the inning. So we're headed to the 8th inning now. Matheny, Hart, and Palmeiro coming up. 6-2 Phillies.
TGI Fridays introduces 3 big flavors. Choose from new garlic chicken, sizzling chicken and cheese, or try bruschetta chicken pasta. Come in now and choose your new Friday's favorite.
The power is in your hands. The Wagner Wide Shot Power Painter. Professional results in about 1/3 of the time. The one and only Wagner Power Painter. For guys who like to run wide open.
We've just been informed that Cooper has been ranked best replacement tire for light truck vehicles and customer satisfaction in a tie in the J.D. Power & Associates 2002 replacement tire study. Okay, as you were.
The Kia Sedona. It's the minivan with the government's highest safety rating and the lowest price. Now get the Kia Sedona starting at $17,615 after $3,000 cash back.
One of these cars is filled with new Shell gasoline. The gasoline specially formulated to give you better mileage. In fact, we have tests to prove it. So, if you took these 3 cars on an identical journey, new Shell gasoline would help one of them go farther.
Monday on X Games 9 in LA, the aggressive inline skaters take to the vert pipe. And can X Game first-timer Chad Muska steal Costin's chance at 2 golds? Watch Monday at 5 on ESPN and all week at 9 on ESPN and ESPN2.
Phillies with a big 4-run 3rd inning have a 6-2 lead over the Cardinals. Jim Thome and Pat Burrell each had 2-run homers in that 4-run 3rd, and the Philly fanatic has been celebrating ever since. Close personal friend of yours, Joe, the fanatic. He drove you out. You did earlier this year one of those countdown number changeovers out in the outfield wall.
And it was definitely a scary ride. When he came out of the tunnel, he was flying. I had to hold on.
You let him drive you out there?
Well, that was the game plan. I didn't know he was going to be a hot rodder.
I would never drive with the fanatic. And Barry Weinberg, the Cardinals trainer, working on the shoulder of Jim Edmonds. You got Mike Matheny, and the new pitcher is facing him. Terry Adams has come on from the Phillies bullpen in relief of Amaury Telemaco, who made his first big league appearance in more than 2 years tonight, and it was a great success. 7 innings, 2 runs, 4 hits allowed, and no hits and no base runners. After Edmonds hit a single against him in the 3rd, he retired the last 14 hitters in a row. Matheny came on as part of a double switch in the 4th inning. The Cardinals starter, Tomko, did not have quite as successful a night. He lasted only 3 innings and gave up 6 runs.
Well, he's got a Telemaco uniform on. Shirt, T-shirt, I should say.
You know, I don't believe he came to the park with that T-shirt.
They wrote it on after he pitched well.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, Hart, the leadoff man, on deck, and Adams missing with that slider. By the way, Tony La Russa asked if we could send along birthday wishes to his daughter, Devin, who today turns 21.
And she's back in the Bay Area.
And he asked us very politely and with great humility. He apologized, saying, I know you guys probably have 1 million people asking you to do something like this. And we would have done it for Tony.
Of course.
No matter how he asked us.
And he also wanted me to say hello to his other daughter, Bianca. He has 2 daughters. But Devin's birthday today. She's 21 years old.
Devin is a dancer who travels the world over with more than one dance troupe. Says she takes home a very nice paycheck from all that dancing. So happy birthday to Devin, 21 years old today, the daughter of Tony La Russa.
And I'm sure Tony would like to get a victory for you to help you celebrate. He'd be in a better mood. But Tony lives very near me in the Bay Area during the off season, and we run into each other all the time.
Oh, right back at Adams, and he throws out Matheny. Number 1. Joe Morgan took a ride, I don't know, a while back, a few weeks ago, with the Phillie Fanatic. June the 18th.
That's when I was changing it from 46 to 45 games to go. But that was the easy part.
I see you don't really want to get back on that.
No, I did not want to get back on.
That's a called strike now with a fastball to Bo Hart. The leadoff man is 0 for 3 in this game, although he's hit a couple of hard ones. Yeah, look how you held on there, Joe. And you'd find out there was no seatbelt. Hart hit by that pitch.
Well, it looks like he's warning the Phillies, and he's now warning the St. Louis Cardinals. I don't know why you'd want to hit someone in a 6-2 ball game, and that's what Tony's wanting to find out. What's going on here? I can see where the umpire the ball did start off the plate inside, but
yeah, this almost beamed him.
Yeah,
it actually hit the bill of his batting helmet.
Well, I think Tony's upset because if one of his pitchers is throwing and the ball does get away, accidentally, he can be kicked out of the game as well as his pitcher. If the umpires believe that Tony's guy is throwing at one of the Phillies hitters. And contrary to what a lot of people believe, if they warn you and a guy gets hit, they have to still assume that realize that it was intentional before they kick you out of the game. They could hit the guy with a curveball and hit him, and they won't throw you out of the game. They have to still think there was intent there. That's one of the things that Sandy Alderson and everyone talked to us about in spring training.
Well, even if there's been no warning given, as Joe Kerrigan's going to go out and talk to Adams now, who's falling behind Palmeiro. You got some power coming up. The Cardinals, even with Albert Pujols out of the lineup, they got Edmonds, Roland, Tino Martinez. Larry Boa reacting to the warning from the plate umpire, Mark Carlson.
Boa said, "You think that was on purpose?" And look, the umpires are in a tough situation. I really believe that they're put in an unfair situation, having to determine in their mind whether a guy threw it a hitter or not. That's just a tough decision for an umpire to have to make. Players know better than the umpires do.
Well, there is an advisory that's been written to the umpires saying that, big league pitchers are very unlikely to throw a pitch high and tight, toward a guy's head, and that being an accident. Well, it's sort of like not saying you must absolutely consider it intentional, but implying strongly that it probably is intentional.
Yeah, but you have to realize they throw wild pitches. It bounced in the dirt. Or, no one's perfect. A guy gets out there, he loses rhythm, and the ball takes off. I mean, and sometimes it takes off in the dirt, sometimes it takes off real wide away from the hitter, and other times it takes off in the vicinity of the hitter.
There's a throw down to second base, but advancing in the play was Bo Hart, striking out Palmeiro. He started to run, but he was not entitled to run. So in the wild pitch, Palmeiro strikes out and Hart advances a base. And Jim Edmonds will come up.
And Larry Boyes out already made the call.
You saw Turk Wendell, the right-hander, and Dan Plesac, the left-hander, up in the bullpen. And Plesac is going to be summoned to face Edmonds.
Introducing the Power Mac G5, the world's fastest, most powerful personal computer.
ESPN HD, the big picture in sports. Available nationwide.
If an 80,000-seat stadium can have a retractable roof, if a 60,000 horsepower submarine can run silently, if a 2-year-old can have 4-wheel steering, why can't you? At GMC, our engineers don't just ask questions, they have answers. GMC professional grade engineering. It's not more than you need, just more than you're used to.
Prime Fighting Championships. There can be only one champion. Total Elimination 2003. Witness the power of Sakuraba, Vanderlei Silva, and American Quentin Rampage Jackson in an 8-man middleweight tournament. Total Elimination 2003. Just added Chuck Liddell of the UFC. Order Pride Fighting playing this month on DirecTV pay-per-view.
Get connected to Total Choice Plus programming from DirecTV and turn on the music you love with VH1 Classic. VH1 Classic has the best pop, rock, and soul from the 60s, 70s, and 80s, 24 hours a day. Classic videos, classic concerts, classic hair, all with your favorite artists. With the Total Choice Plus package, you'll get VH1 Classic and over 125 great channels. So call today or visit DirecTV.com for the unbeatable DirecTV experience.
Trey, we go back with you in our baseball studios. Red Sox started Sunday with a full game lead in the wild card over the A's. John Mabry, though, doesn't care. Doubles to left off John Burkett. Mariners going to win 3-1. Back to you guys.
Okay, Trey, and there's a ball from Dan Plesac, the veteran lefty, to Jim Edmonds. Edmonds has never had a hit against Plesac. 0 for 9 lifetime. Plesac, who usually is used just in spots like this, to come in and get 1 or 2 lefties out. He's been doing a pretty good job of it. And then slider on the outside.
And while Mesa was not given the closer's role back yet, Plesac pitched on Friday and got the save in Friday night's ball game. They were using a lot of different guys to close games.
Plesac is he's been in over 1,000 games in his career. Edmonds to center, shallow, a late break, but Bird gets there, and that's the inning. Edmonds is 1 for 4. 6-2 Phillies. Now to the last of the 8th, Pat Burrell, then Rollins coming up.
There's a state where there's fun around every corner, where all cars are turbocharged, and there's a direct link between the right foot and a smile. Maybe that's why people who test drive a Saab usually buy one. This is the state of independence.
The Saab 9.5 linear sedan, available during the Everyday is Independence Day summer sales event for as low as $349 a month.
NFL and Sports Illustrated have lined up an exclusive offer to get you ready for football season. Kick off with the first ever NFL Fantasy Preview 2003, a 2-disc DVD from NFL Films, free with your paid subscription. Hosted by Ron Jaworski and Spencer Tillman, NFL Fantasy Preview 2003 is loaded with valuable information like draft strategy and player rankings you won't find anywhere else. Call now and get another gift from Sports Illustrated free. A long-sleeve T-shirt of your favorite NFL team. The choice is yours. The ultimate NFL fantasy football package is free when you order 56 weekly issues of Sports Illustrated for only $1.59 an issue. Save more than 50% off the cover price of $3.50. Use your credit or debit card, and you'll also get this team logo fleece blanket free.
I can't believe this is all free.
Get the ultimate fantasy football package. Call now.
Hi, I'm checking in. Hi, checking in. Checking in. Hi.
Good morning, sir. Checking in.
At Hotels.com, we check out a wide range of hotels, so you get the best price and exactly what you want in a hotel. Hotels.com. Best prices, best places. Guaranteed.
Monday on X Games 9 in LA. The aggressive inline skaters take to the vert pipe. And can X Game first-timer Chad Muska steal Costin's chance at 2 golds? Watch Monday at 5 on ESPN and all week at 9 on ESPN and ESPN2.
Now to the last half of the 8th inning. 6-2, the Phillies are leading. SportsCenter will follow the ball game. Don't worry about that. The entire day in sports will be there as soon as this ball game's over. As Pat Burrell facing Jason Simontachi, taking a strike. Burrell launched a long home run back in the 3rd inning to cap a 4-run 3rd to give the Phillies a 6-2 lead. Good fastball is a strike.
Right on the inside corner.
By the way, after that homer by Burrell, Rollins hit a single in the 3rd, and the Phillies have not had a hit since. Neither the Phillies nor the Cardinals has had a base hit since the 3rd inning. He reached for that breaking ball, and Roland, boo, throws him out. If the ball even gets close to Roland, they boo. Well, we asked which player has the best chance to be the next Triple Crown winner in our Nextel poll question. And most of our respondents, and nearly 82,000 of them, feel that Albert Pujols is the most likely.
Well, I think that they look at the statistics this year, and he definitely has the best chance this year.
And he's the most likely to do it this year, no question.
Yeah, but also you have to remember, A-Rod already has a Triple Crown. He's won the home run title, the RBI title, and the batting average title. So he already has a Triple Crown. He just didn't do them at the same time.
I think that
kind of like a Tiger Slam.
It is a prerequisite, though.
Yeah.
You got to do them all the same year.
You got to do them all the same. Oh, well, okay. Well, we won't give him a Triple Crown there.
Jimmy Rollins, the hitter. Rollins is 1 for 3. Nobody's had a hit since his 3rd inning single. You know, nobody's won the Triple Crown in the National League since 1937. Joe Medwick, who is a Hall of Famer, nicknamed Ducky. And you know what I found out? He hated that nickname. None of his teammates would ever use that nickname around him, or if they did, they'd have to pay the consequences. 1-2 the count. Rollins right up the middle, base hit. Albert Pujols with a high fever, suffering from the flu. You can see he's leading the batting average race over Todd Helton. Barry Bonds is ahead of him by 3 home runs, and Preston Wilson's got 8 more RBIs.
But I mean, he's close, but any of these guys, Bonds can get hot in the home run. Helton can even get hot there. So. And, of course, Preston Wilson's leading the league. So these guys can also get hot and kind of put some distance between themselves and Albert.
Preston's got a huge number of those RBIs at Coors Field.
And they do play a lot of games there.
Here's Tyler Houston. I mean, not to say that Preston's not having a great year. I mean, he's not the only guy hitting at Coors Field. But he's the only guy hitting at Coors Field who got 116 RBIs this year. Tyler Houston, the pinch hitter for Dan Plesac. We're in the last of the 8th. The Phillies lead 6-2. 42,153, the paid crowd at the vet tonight. Phillies season's total here with 16 dates remaining on the home schedule, is at 1,650,000, which already exceeds last year's total for the whole year. Turk Wendell up in the bullpen, the right-hander. Scott Rowland has one more at bat coming. He'll be leading it off in the 9th, apparently, against Wendell.
John, I got in early last night, so I was watching the ball game on television, and Tug McGraw, who had some surgery cancer problems earlier in the year, he was here with his son Tim, Mark, and his family, and he's doing well. And there's his jersey that they hang in the dugout, but he's doing well. It was great to see him on TV last night. And then Mark, whom I've known for a long period of time, was a small kid. Then he came by to say hello to us. He said he reminded the fact I gave him a glove when he was a little kid. But it was great to see Tug here, and the fans gave him a great ovation. And he's been here for the weekend, him and his family. And Tim, of course, great country and western singer.
Tyler Houston foul tipped that one. 1 ball, 2 strike. Now, last night in the 6th inning, before the Phillies came to bat, they showed a picture of Tug McGraw in his seats up on the big screen in center field.
Right.
Fans gave him a nice ovation. And then, after that, the Phillies came to bat and scored 4 runs.
Right. You got to believe, Oh, you were here last night too. You were watching the game.
I know what happened last
night.
Well,
if you were here and I was here, we should have watched it together. We could have watched it together.
Well, you didn't call me.
Well, I didn't know you were here yet.
I mean, you always sit with like the owners and whatnot. I'm out there in the bleachers. I called the people I know to see if they give me some good seats. 1 hop to Tino. Thought about second. No play there. And he gets the unassisted put out on Tyler Houston. 2 down. Meanwhile, there's that ball game going on in Texas. Here's an update with Trey Wingo.
All right, John and Joe, thanks. If the White Sox could just get out A-Rod, they might end their losing streak. He had a home run to tie it, and then here in the 7th, a double that gets all the way to the wall. 2 runs come in, and thanks to A-Rod and A-Rod alone, what was a 4-3 White Sox lead is now 6-3 Rangers, guys, top of the 8th.
And all of the highlights of that game and everything else in baseball and in sports today on SportsCenter. Stuart Scott, Kevin Frazier. All still to come. Here's Marlon Byrd, the leadoff man, and he is 0 for 3.
There's Tug McGraw. Right there.
Tug McGraw was on that Phillies team that went to the World Series, a teammate of yours in 1983.
Yeah, he got the final out of the World Series for the Phillies to win. He was on the mound when they won it.
That was 1980.
80,
yeah,
when they beat Kansas City. Yeah.
That was the first World Series championship in the entire long history of the Phillies. Scott Rowland. And that's the inning. Down to the 9th, and Scott Rowland to get one last booing before he leaves the vet.
Well, we went out searching for some waves. It was pretty mellow, actually.
Man, chill out. I'm trying to eat.
The car ride out was good, except Luke kept taking his shoes off. Luke!
Oh!
We found this secret little surf spot. When we got there, the beach was totally empty. After a whole day of surfing, we just wanted to crash out.
The new Honda Element. Go with it.
Introducing the Power Mac G5, the world's fastest, most powerful personal computer.
Let's say this is you. Yeah, you're the king. But being the king isn't always easy. So, when you're with Allstate, you'll have over 50,000 professionals to help protect you. From claims adjusters who can help you fix a broken castle, to emergency assistants to ride to your rescue, to lawyers that go to court with you if you need them, and your Allstate agent who knows the moves to help you. Helping you, the king, feel protected. Just one more way, you're in good hands with Allstate.
Coming up on SportsCenter, the official word on Michael Vick's fractured future, plus the answer on Kobe Bryant.
I've never met nobody in my life that's squeaky clean.
SportsCenter after the game, ESPN.
ESPN Sunday Night Baseball, presented by Nextel. Nextel, life's better when your cell phone has a walkie-talkie. And in part by the new Honda Element. Go with it.
Yes, Scott Rowland has been cited by the fans here at the Vet. Some, in the interest of presenting both sides of the story, some here at the Vet actually miss Scott Rowland. But most of them will only miss the fact that they won't get a chance to boo him again this year, at least in the regular season. Rowland has struck out twice tonight and flied out deep to right, facing Turk Wendell. So they don't always boo him.
Well, he's still one of my favorite players.
Wendell having an outstanding year out of that Phillies bullpen. A little bloop and caught by Utley. Well, you know, for many years, a guy who used to get that after he left one team and moved to another as a free agent was Barry Bonds in Pittsburgh.
Oh, yeah.
They booed Barry all the time, and for a long time he did not do well when he went back to Pittsburgh.
Look, we can say whatever we want, but it does have an effect on you, especially if you played there in that city and you know, thought you gave them a good effort, and then to have them, you know, turn on you, it does affect you.
I did see something in the paper this week, and I have to paraphrase it.
And I'm speaking from experience.
Well, you got booed?
Yeah.
Where'd you get booed?
Where have I played?
Well, they said, you know, they were asking people about their memories of Veteran Stadium. Tino, that one is gone if it's fair. And that one hits the foul pole. A home run for Tino Martinez.
That breaks a long string of homerless at bats for Tino.
His 13th home run this year. 6-3 now.
Fastball pretty much in the middle of the plate and down.
That pitch may have been more down the middle than any pitch I've ever seen.
It's definitely in the middle.
So the count is 0-1 to Renteria, who is 0 for 3. Anyway, they asked Scott Rowland if there are any special memories that he would take from Veterans Stadium once he departs here after the game tonight. And he said, "I'm just hoping to take my sanity with me."
Well, like I said, I don't care who it is, it will affect you. I mean, you know, as a professional athlete, I mean, it does affect you. I mean, it's like if a guy's on stage and they boo him. I mean, it's going to affect you.
Tino had gone 99 consecutive at-bats without a home run. He had not homered since July the 4th, but he snapped that on Tuesday at Pittsburgh.
So he's hot now.
And he had a 5 RBI game at Pittsburgh last Tuesday.
Well, that's what they're looking for. They just wanted a little more power from Tino. He was hitting well, you know, for average, but he just wasn't providing the power that they expected.
Renteria hit by that pitch by Wendell. That's the third Cardinal that's been hit by a pitch tonight by Phillies pitching.
Well, I'm sure that he realizes that wasn't intentional, but I think La Russa's trying to say, well, they hit him, what you going to do about it?
Wants him ejected.
Yeah.
But you pointed it out already.
Yeah, you don't have
mandatory.
No, you do not have to eject him. He has to feel like he was throwing at him intentionally. And Tony says, I feel like he was. And like you say, a smart play by Tony to try to get him ejected. I mean, you mentioned Wendell's having a great season. But see, that's an example of what we talked about earlier. Renteria kind of dives in a little bit. And watch where his front shoulder goes. See, he's going toward the plate, and the ball hits him. I'm not saying that he shouldn't have been hit, but that's makes it far more difficult to get out of the way when you dive in a little bit. Well, they're going to discuss it. You know what, being honest with you, John, this is something I think should happen is the umpires get together and decide, you know, don't put it all on one guy's shoulders.
Now, why should the one guy
exactly
have the whole decision?
Yeah, let the four of them get together and discuss it.
So he went over to Jerry Davis, the third base umpire. Now Ed Rapuano and Paul Nowert also get into the discussion. And now La Russa, because apparently they all decided that there was no intent. La Russa wants to go talk to Jerry Davis himself.
And look, I think they've handled it properly. I think the thing that wasn't handled properly was the first warning. But this is being handled properly. There's no way Wendell was throwing at somebody and going to put, you know, runners on base when you're trying to close out the ball game. You put the tying run at the plate now. No, no, 6-3.
One more base runner.
Yeah.
But the idea when you got a lead like that is not to put people on base. Yeah.
Right.
But that was the whole point why you wondered why he issued the warning after Bo Hart got hit.
Right. You wouldn't have this problem if that was the case.
Bo Hart was hit with one out, nobody on in the 8th inning. And Terry Adams on the mound in a spot where you're the top of the order. The last thing Adams wanted was to put somebody on base free of charge.
I think Tony's saying that if you thought the other one was intentional, this looked more intentional than the other one to him is probably what he's saying. But again, I think it's Tony, you know, trying to fire his team up. He's also trying to, you know, maybe possibly get Wendell kicked out of the ball game because it would help his cause. But I don't think that's going to happen, and I don't think it should happen.
We got Miguel Cairo coming up next. And then if Cairo gets aboard, you get the pitcher spot. Jose Mesa has gotten up in the Phillies bullpen. And by the way, Albert Pujols, although he was not in the starting lineup, as Turk Wendell doing some back stretches out there. La Russa did say, now La Russa has been ejected.
I think the umpires have done the right thing by not ejecting Wendell. But I also think I can understand from Tony's perspective why he's so upset. Because you made a point. I mean, you know, they have had 3 players hit tonight, and they did issue a warning.
Well, I mean, you know, one thing that Tony might have been saying to him, Joe, was he issued this warning after my second guy was hit. We haven't hit any of their guys. I believe if one of my guys had hit one of their hitters after that warning, he would have been ejected.
And he's probably correct.
But now here's the 3rd Cardinal being hit by the pitch. This one to Renteria after the warning had been issued. And that's when La Russa was thrown out of the game by Jerry Davis, the crew chief. With Davis and Ed Rapuano there, a couple of veteran umpires. Looks like Tony, did he rip up his score?
Yeah, I think that's when he got tossed. And Tony probably saying, well, this doesn't mean anything anyway.
Meanwhile, Larry Bowa now is going to the mound. He's going to bring in Jose Mesa. All of that gave Mesa time to warm up. It is now a save situation under the rule book. Here's when La Russa got the thumb.
Well, you know what? I don't know why that gets you to Thome tearing up the scorecard. I guess he said some things along with it. But it's your scorecard. If you want to tear it up, I think you have that right.
All right, so there's a runner at first, one out. Jose Mesa, the beleaguered closer of the Phillies, just inserted back in the role, coming in.
Give your engine what it wants. Pennzoil with time release protection helps keep engines running stronger, longer. Not just oil, Pennzoil.
You know, why don't you another hamster?
Good job.
Didn't the real estate agent say they were closing the ball field?
Do you have confidence in your real estate agent? Century 21 Pledge Point number 2. Century 21 agents are honest and forthright. Just one of the ways to help reduce the stress of buying real estate. Go to century21.com to help select this season's Hank Aaron Award winner.
I've lost my credit card.
It is a Capital One no hassle card, isn't it?
No. Cinderella's got my credit card!
Whether your card is lost or stolen, with the Capital One no hassle card, you're not liable for a penny. Get the nation's lowest fixed rate, 4.99 APR.
What's in your wallet?
Coming up on SportsCenter, the official word on Michael Vick's fractured future, plus the answer on Kobe Bryant.
I've never met nobody in my life that's squeaky clean.
SportsCenter after the game, ESPN.
Trey, we can go back with you in our baseball studios. Let's finish up the other half of the wild card picture in the AL. Ramon Hernandez for the A's off Roy Halladay scores Eric Chavez and Miguel Tejada. A's go on to win 7-3, so the A's and the Red Sox now in a tie for the AL wild card. Meanwhile, we can also tell you that the game between the Rangers and the White Sox has gone final. White Sox have dropped 5 in a row as the Rangers beat them 6-4. A-Rod, 3 RBI and a home run. Guys, back to you. Finish up the game.
All right, thanks, Trey.
We'll try.
And the Rangers are playing well right now. I can see them doing spawning a lot of hopes along the way among contenders. Here's Jose Mesa. Last night he threw 22 pitches in the 9th inning, getting the save in a 5-4 game. Now he's got a 3-run lead and 1 base runner, but the possible tying run is at or in the on-deck circle as he enters the game. So under the rule book, he is able to get a save if he can hold this one. There's Renteria, who got hit by the pitch over at first base.
And I think he should steal second.
They're not holding him. There he goes. He's going to take it. That's a strike.
Well, what you do there is stay out of the double play.
Mike Williams, the former Pirates closer, acquired by the Phillies before the trading deadline, now warming up just in case.
And when you run the second, you go down, it may not give you a stolen base, but you stay out, out of the double play.
Into right center field. That's a base hit. Abreu cuts it off. He'll hold Cairo to a single, but scoring is Renteria. And now it is 6-4. And now the next batter is the possible tying run of the game, and Eduardo Perez, who has power. He hit the game tying homer last Sunday night in St. Louis against the Braves, is going to come up as the pinch hitter. Perez with 2 down in the 8th inning against Horacio Ramirez, with his club down by a run. And that brought Smoltz into the game to face Pujols, and Pujols lost one to the back of the bullpen, and that proved to be the winning run. Cardinals won it 3-2 in very dramatic fashion there. So here's Perez. His shoulder giving him some trouble apparently. He's hitting .289 for the year, 9 homers, 32 batted in. He has done his best hitting against left-handed pitching. That's a strike on the inside. Perez has a .250 average against right-handers, and only two of his 9 homers have been hit against right-handers in 124 at-bats against right-handers. Jose Mesa. He chased that high slider, tried to check, couldn't do it. You see, Mesa was removed from that closer's role back on August the 3rd. Had his first save opportunity since then last night. His previous save was back on July 30th. Oh, he struck him out.
Good job there by Mesa. He started him out with a fastball in, and that set up everything else. Breaking balls away and a splitter. After going inside with the first strike, he goes away with the next two, and Eduardo chases this one. Looked like a splitter down and away.
Well, Larry Bowa has said for the Phillies to get to the next level, to get to the postseason and be a player there, they need Mesa. It's been an excellent bullpen. There goes the runner from first, Cairo, and he takes second base uncontested as Matheny took ball 1. Bohart would be next. 2 down in the 9th. 2 runs in for the Cardinals. Both of those runs, by the way, are charged to Turk Wendell, who started the inning. And that will be foul off the right field line. Matheny has hit 5 homers this year in 355 at-bats. I mention that simply because he is the possible tying run.
Well, if you look at the outfield, they're not playing very deep. I mean, with 2 outs, you do not want a ball to be hit over your head and stay in the ballpark, but they're not playing very deep.
In other words, an extra base hit not only gets a run home, but the possible tying run is in scoring position.
Yeah, they're pretty shallow. You normally keep everything in front of you.
Now the Cardinals down to their final strike. The Phillies getting ready to go on a 2-week road trip, their longest road trip of the year. But if they can get this final strike, they'll take a 5-game winning streak with them, including a sweep this weekend of the Cardinals. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Mesa delivers. That's a 96-mile-an-hour fastball, but he missed with it.
Clearly off the plate outside.
Sports Center right after the game. 2-2. A pop-up foul, and that will go back out of play. So Mesa staying with the heat. Jim Thome with a 2-run homer back in the 3rd. That put the Phillies ahead. That broke a 2-2 tie. He hit it into the upper deck in right field. And then Burrow later in the same inning with a 2-run homer. That made it 6-2. Now the Cardinals with a 2-run 9th inning. That made it 6-4. Cairo, the runner at second, 2 down. Matheny hitting in the 9th spot of the order, trying to keep the Cardinals going. Breaking ball missed. Too low. It's a full count now. Boy, again, got that worried look in his face. And he might have been wondering about throwing a slider there when you got a 96-mile-an-hour fastball you can throw. 3-2. And he walks it. So now the possible tying runs are on base. And Bowa is not going to let Mesa finish this one. Mike Williams, the Pirates' former closer, is going to try and close one here for the Phillies with Bohart coming up. It's not over yet at the Vet.
The Kia Sedona. It's the minivan with the government's highest safety rating and the lowest price. Now get the Kia Sedona starting at $17,615 after $3,000 cash back.
Have you checked out BestBuy.com? There's even more stuff here. Now, this is for what again? Nature photography? Oh, cool. We should probably get you a longer zoom. Yeah.
Think our store is big? Check out BestBuy.com. Thousands of possibilities. Get yours.
Coming up on SportsCenter, the official word on Michael Vick's fractured future, plus the answer on Kobe Bryant.
I've never met nobody in my life that's squeaky clean.
SportsCenter after the game, ESPN.
There's the veteran right-hander, Mike Williams, who years ago was with the Phillies, came up with the Phillies. In fact, the last time we had a Sunday night telecast in Philadelphia, he was the winning pitcher for the Phillies. Now, in a year in which he's had 26 saves, he was on the All-Star team as the lone representative from the Pirates. He comes out to try and get a save right here in relief of Jose Mesa. Mesa is not going to stick around and see how Williams does. So here's Mike Williams to face Kerry Robinson, a pinch hitter for Bo Hart. Robinson has had 2 hits in 4 career at-bats against Williams. This throws a lot of sliders ordinarily. Starts with a changeup. Strike on the outside. Robinson hitting .252 overall this year, 8 for 32 as a pinch hitter. 2 men on, 2 men out. Cairo at second. Matheny, the possible tying run at first.
Well, they definitely should keep the ball in front of them in the outfield now. Bird's backing up a little bit in center field.
Another changeup, and he misses. A ball and a strike. Williams has had 1 save with the Phillies this year. There's Real Cormier. Phillies don't have a game tomorrow. They start their road trip on Tuesday. Two on, 2 out. Game with that changeup. 1-2 to count. Turk Wendell started this inning. Then Mesa. Now Williams. Williams is the 6th pitcher used by the Phillies tonight. Orlando Palmeiro would be next. Edmonds behind him. 2 down though for the Cardinals. The 4th consecutive changeup, and it is 2-2. At what point does a changeup quit looking like a changeup to a hitter?
I think after 4.
Well, the one time Robinson swung at it, he was fooled by it.
I mean, you can still be fooled, but you're not really changing off of anything.
2-2. Struck it out with a changeup. So the Phillies hang on to win it, and it is Williams who comes on to wrap it up. The Phillies sweep the series from the Cardinals, and they're heading out on a 2-week road trip with a 5-game winning streak. They remain a half game ahead of Florida in the wild card race in the National League. The Cardinals remain behind the Astros in the Central Division, 1 game back of both the Astros and a half game back of the Cubs. And the Phillies, well, with Williams out there, Joe, they know they've got some options if Mesa can't get it done. We'll see you next Sunday night, 8 Eastern, 6-4. The Phillies win it. SportsCenter coming up next. For Joe Morgan and our entire ESPN crew, I'm John Miller. Thanks for tuning in. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports.